Okay. So we're live. We're back with Hogwarts Legacy at last. I mean, not at last, but I have been testing this game a little bit in the last day that it's been available. Whoa. This game's pretty good. Hold on. What does this stream look like? Stream looks pretty good. Hold on, why is the chat not updating? Okay, this is gonna be my first initial well, not really initial impression anymore, but we're taking a look at the PC version of Hogwarts Legacy. So I was able to test it briefly on the PlayStation 5 the other day, but there isn't really much of a reason to stream that version of the game because all the reviewers reviewed it on PlayStation 5 except for probably like a couple of reviewers that did manage to review it on the PC, but I think most of those were like written reviews. So, well, actually, let's go and look at the Ravenclaw house. I'll have to create more characters to look at the other ones. Okay, let me check one thing here. If we go to settings, actually, hold on, let me just move it with the mouse. So we're playing it windowed full screen, which is basically borderless full screen. I don't know why the Sony 075A, I don't know what that is. Oh, it defaulted it to FSR2. Okay, hold on. So we're gonna turn off FSR2. We're gonna make that none for the upscaling. Let's make this 120 so we don't go over the refresh rate. VSync, what I've noticed with this game is if I turn VSync off, I'll turn it off to show you what happens, but what ends up happening if you turn VSync off is you'll see tearing. Like, I've noticed tearing in cutscenes with VSync off, so the only way to fix that is to turn it on. Well, I'll turn it off again, just so we can show what the tearing looks like. Motion blur, I haven't really noticed like that to be an issue, and you can see here I am running the game with an AMD Radeon RX 7900 XTX, so this is above the recommended settings or the recommended specs for Ultra 4K. So the only other one that can match that spec is pretty much the 4090, and then like anything else below that is kind of like the actual recommended. So I don't know, like they say that, but the game to me doesn't seem like it's super hard to run, at least with this graphics card. Now I am going to be testing it just like with Forspoken. I am going to be testing with the Intel Arc A770, so if you want to see how that's going to perform, that's going to be on a different stream. That will probably be a more extensive live stream, so meaning I will be streaming for a longer period of time using the Intel Arc GPU for this game. But for this evening, what I'm going to be looking at is how it performs when you have a PC that is above the actual maximum spec, recommended spec for 4K. Hey, Joel. So yeah, I saw your message. I mean, I am going to be doing a live stream with the Intel Arc GPU and this game. What's interesting is this game, so unlike Forspoken, this game actually is well optimized. Like this game, it does have very high spec requirements for a good experience, but unlike Forspoken, when you throw really powerful hardware at it, it actually performs well. So that's really nice to see. Now I did notice though, like Forspoken's like the head of the development team at Forspoken, I think the producer did say in a tweet that they are going to update the game with a lot of optimization. So that's good to hear, because that means that Forspoken, I'll be able to do a follow-up video on Forspoken looking at how it's improved once that update has come out. But that's not going to be for a while. So we're going to focus a lot on this game, and you guys can see we have no upscaling turned on. What's cool is this game, right out the gate, has AMD FSR2. It has Intel XESS, which is interesting because, you know, like, Forspoken had this as well. But Forspoken would only show you Intel XESS if you had an Intel Arc GPU installed and actually rendering the game. So if you didn't have an Intel Arc GPU, the Intel XESS upscaling method was invisible to the user. You couldn't actually select it if you had like an AMD or a GeForce card, for example. It also has AMD FSR1. It's interesting that they put that in there. My guess is that there's probably some of the older AMD cards, maybe RDNA 1, like a 5700 XT, or you know, like something older, like a Vega 64 or Radeon 7, basically a GCN-based card, might not support FSR2. So it's interesting that they have both FSR 1.0 and 2 in this game, so you can actually select either one. So the default is FSR2, I think, for everything that I've seen. I have not tested the game yet with a GeForce card, but from what I have seen, installing this game on 2 different PCs, it defaults to FSR2 as its, like, out-of-the-box config. Like, right as we start the game, this is the first time running the game on this streaming PC, and so it had to do a shader compilation before you could actually start playing the game. And that is something that I will note, because if you have this game installed on an SSD, meaning like a traditional old 3.5-inch SSD using a SATA cable, this game will take a while to compile the shaders. And if you're on a legacy hard drive, like an old Spindle HDD, this game will take a pretty long time. We're talking, you know, like 10 minutes or more, depending on how full that drive is and how old the computer is, in terms of having to compile the shaders. So I have this game installed on an NVMe PCI Gen 3 SSD, just for those that are curious, and the load times are really, really quick, basically just like the PlayStation 5. So, you think the 3090 Ti is the recommended? Yes, it is. I will probably be testing with that GPU. Although I am more interested in testing with the 3080 Ti, because that one has less VRAM, and I think it's always interesting to test those GPUs that don't really have as much VRAM, especially when the game like says, oh, it needs a 3090 Ti. Well, what happens if you throw a 3080 Ti at it? It has half the VRAM, and it's a little bit weaker. You know, it's like 1.5 tier down from where the 3090 Ti sits. So, yeah, 3080 Ti is basically 4070 Ti. It's like a little bit weaker than a 4070 Ti, because in my mind, a 4070 Ti is basically a 3090. So it's like the 4070 Ti sits right between a 3080 Ti and a 3090 Ti in terms of rasterization. So, you know, I'm kind of curious, you know, like, how does a 3080 Ti perform in this game? So I might actually test that one. But I will probably first test 3090 Ti, just because that is what the devs of this game are recommending. So I will try it out, you know, with a 4K monitor and see how that goes. But it's cool if they have all this other stuff. I don't know why it says NVIDIA NIS. I don't know what NVIDIA NIS is. I've never heard of this. I don't know if they meant NVIDIA DLSS, or if this is some weird thing that's kind of like FSR 1.0, where it's a temporal-based upscaler that NVIDIA doesn't really advertise much. I've never heard of this, NVIDIA NIS, but it is here. It does show up when you have a Radeon GPU installed. So you guys can see down here, we are using a Radeon RX 7900 XTX. Just have everything turned on. Everything's kind of maxed out. If we look at the So see, like, ultra, 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 ultra across the board. Ray tracing is off. We're not going to test with ray tracing today. I'll probably look at that later. The problem is you have to restart the game. I don't want to do that. So we're just going to run with it, like, look at how it performs, rasterization, the max frame limit 120, everything on ultra running at 4K with no upscaling, so no FSR, none of that stuff. And yeah, let's see how it goes. It's software-based upscaler like FSR1. Okay, that's good to know. So that means you can actually run that on Radeon, so that's cool. Because as far as I know, all of these different options are available to the Radeon GPU.
What are you up to now?
So I've played about an hour or so just running around the castle. Well, actually more like 2 or 3 hours total. The first hour of the game, or the first 40 minutes or so, is basically the intro tutorial where it teaches you like how to play the game, you know, how like combat works, how exploration works. But you guys can see, like, that's the way to leave the Ravenclaw house. So this is the Ravenclaw house. If you guys haven't noticed, or if you haven't looked at any gameplay footage, you can make multiple characters. So don't worry, like, if you want to see the other 3 houses, if you're in one for your main, like, you can make alt characters and then just go to their houses if you want to see, like, what those houses look like. Because you can't actually go, at least not in the early game, you cannot go into a different house once you're sorted. So, like, if I leave the building or leave the room, you guys can see there's the eagle for Ravenclaw. So that's how you get into the Ravenclaw room. And what's interesting here is there was something that popped up. Okay. I thought I saw something, actually. Ooh. Okay. The Ravenclaw door knocker. That's cool. But this game, like, one thing I like about this game right off the bat is the exploration. The sense of exploration in this game is way, way better than Forspoken. Forspoken's exploration is not terrible. It's kind of like The Witcher, but this game is, like, better than The Witcher in terms of exploration. Just the castle alone, it doesn't look very good. Well, I don't know if it's... because we are streaming at a pretty high bit rate for this game, so... so there might not be enough bit rate. Or if you're not watching it at source, that might be the thing too. Actually, what is the source resolution? Because I did mess with the settings for those Forspoken videos. Oh, it looks... oh, you said it looks very good. I thought it said it does... I thought you said it doesn't look very good. For some reason, I read that wrong. Okay. Well, that's good. Because we are streaming at a higher bitrate than I usually do. So I'm experimenting with YouTube to see, like, if I get throttled, like, streaming at a higher bitrate, because I could potentially try streaming at a higher resolution, like 1440p, and then see how much bitrate is actually needed to get a good video quality. But for now, like, I'm streaming the game at 4K. I mean, I'm playing the game at 4K, but I am downscaling the game to YouTube to down to 1080p, 60 FPS. So it's effectively cutting everything in half. So you guys can see I've already solved some of these puzzles, just kind of running around through the castle. But I really like the sense of exploration. And what's cool about this game is you actually get to see how, like, where everything in the Hogwarts castle is relative to, like, all the rooms that you saw in the movies. Or were only described in the books. So that's really cool, actually. So you do have a sprint, so you can sprint. So people can actually speedrun this game. without, you know, getting really annoyed because they have to walk everywhere, at least at the beginning. But it's good. Like, so far, like, I haven't run into any crashes. I haven't run into any weird, like, graphical bugs or rendering issues or hitches or lag spikes or stuttering. Like, I haven't really run into any of those problems. Whereas Forspoken had a lot of those problems, where it was very jarring from the experience. So that, like, you guys might be wondering, like, why am I mentioning Forspoken a lot? That's because that's the other big, air quotes, magic combat-based game that came out recently. So naturally, I'm going to compare these two quite a bit, at least initially.
Question, and then it's not really good.
So this game does have a leveling system, so you can see right now I'm level 3.
Revelio.
So a lot of it is just kind of like exploring for now. Like, I was supposed to actually go to a class, but I haven't gone to class yet. And it's not like... The other thing that's very lenient is if you don't go to class, like I was supposed to go to class probably like 2 in-game hours ago or something, but I haven't even gone yet. But it's like time in the world is not progressing, meaning like it's still relatively early in the day, even though I haven't gone to class and all I've been doing is running around the castle and opening like treasure chests and solving riddles and stuff. Or just kind of generally learning where things are in Hogwarts. Would be interesting to see this using the A770. Is not much of a mystery. Yeah, so we will be doing the A770 in the next live stream. And that will be a longer... So, I was saying earlier, like... When I play this game on the A770, it's going to be a longer live stream. It's going to be a long play session. Whereas the stream might not be too long. I did start the stream way later than I normally do for long play sessions. So this is just kind of a showing, okay, this is how the game runs at 4K with everything maxed out with no upscaling on, you know, a flagship GPU. And sure enough, it runs fine. Why is that like that? I thought that would actually... surprised that that's
Revelio.
Oh, I guess I have to like find the source of that. You saw someone playing the game on the ARC at native 1440 without RT at ultra settings. What I have heard so far, the ultra settings, I mean the ray tracing in this game isn't actually, it doesn't really do a whole lot. But from what I have seen on the consoles, it does actually, like, the game can't really go above like 30 FPS on the consoles when you have ray tracing turned on. So, but it probably runs fine on PC hardware, I would imagine. Because it doesn't seem like the ray tracing does a whole lot. Again, I'm kind of waiting for Digital Foundry to cover this game to see like what actually changes. Because when I looked at Forspoken, and we all looked at Forspoken, and I turned ray tracing on and off, and it was like... You could barely even tell if RT was actually on or off. Like, it was not noticeable.
Revelio.
Right, so you had to really stare at a still image before and after to really figure out, like, what it's actually doing. Or what it's actually changing. Okay, I think... Oh, wait, there's something here. Okay. House Point Hourglass. You know what? I don't even remember these things, if these were in the movie or not. Okay. And what's cool is, like, if you use the spell...
Revelio.
This spell is, like, one of the most important spells.
Huh.
Why is this guy clapping? Okay. You'll see like stuff through walls. See, like I can see there's a door on the other side, and there's like some knobs or something on the wall that you can interact with.
Revelio.
What does this do? Well, I guess I need to find... I have to find something? Oh, here's the... Oh, I found the cafeteria. Or whatever they call this room. Like, the room where they do the like, the eating and stuff. The room where you get sorted for the sorting hat. The Great Hall. Okay, that's what this place is called, yeah. The ceiling of the Great Hall.
Revelio.
Is this also the room where they take, like, their final exams and stuff? Ray tracing isn't worth the performance loss, it's barely better looking. Yeah, see, that's how a lot of these games seem to be. Like, it seems like there's only a handful of games that actually, like... in my mind, so far, what I have seen is, like, the games that really benefit from ray tracing are, like, super old games from, like, prior console generations that... when you put path tracing in that game environment, it just makes the game look like a brand new game. Like Quake 2 is an example. You know, Portal 2, like the Oblivion, like the project for, I think Morrowind or Oblivion, one of those two is supposed to also be getting like an RT update or something, last I checked. I know Nvidia was saying something about that. Like I saw some demo like back when the 4090 was being announced. It's been a while. Oh, RT on and off? Okay, let me check. Oh, okay. So basically, like, the reflections of objects in the background are more noticeable. Like, the actual reflection is a full reflection as opposed to a, like a, I guess a light bounce reflection off the ground. Oh wait, there's something here too.
Revelio.
The owl lectern. I didn't even know what this thing was called. Oh, and I leveled up from that. That's cool. There's nothing I can do with this. Lumos, maybe.
Lumos.
Lumos? That doesn't do anything. Okay. How about this? Level log 1. Can't pick it. Okay. That's fine. Oh, wait. There's actually stairs? There's stairs at the back? I didn't know that. So, the sense of exploration is really good. I'm too early in the game that I don't have, like, any of the abilities to do anything yet, though. I should probably go to my classes and learn some spells instead of just running around. But it's just so cool to finally actually be able to run through the Hogwarts castle. You know, after only, like, seeing what different rooms are like in the movies, and then now you actually get to see how everything is connected to each other, like all the different rooms. Oh, now I got the fast travel. So they use those, like, green flames to do fast traveling. Morrowind was only a tech demo? Oh, really? I thought... Okay, well, you know what? The thing is... The thing is, it's a tech demo today, but the groundwork has been laid for somebody to actually... Oh, wow, now there's, like, way more students in here than there was earlier. Oh, this is supposed to be what? Like, their house, points? So they're cheering, like, if they have more points than each other or something? That's interesting. You don't think running this game on a 3050 or 660 would be a very good experience on this game? Well, I mean... The PS5. So, if you watch any of the video reviews, like, if you watch the IGN review, or any review of this game that shows the gameplay footage on YouTube, is the PlayStation 5 performance mode. As far as I know, like, every review that I watched, they tested the game on performance mode on the PlayStation 5. Pretty much all the review copies, except for probably, like, very, very few where the reviews came out a day later, were all done on the PlayStation 5. So, And I think I remember, like, anytime they mentioned the different settings, it was all performance mode. As opposed to... Oh, see, like, here's some water. Like, here's, like, a reflected, like, a puddle. Oh, it doesn't, like, splash. It's too... But, it, like, the visuals on performance mode on the PS5 look good. So it's like... It seems like this game does... It's just like the developers actually did take the time and effort to optimize the game, which is really good, because I was not expecting it to be as optimized as it is. Because I think we can all agree, when we first looked at the specs, like the system requirements for this game, you know, like when everybody saw that whole like 7900 XT or 3090 Ti, you know, that's kind of like an eyebrow raiser. Like, really, it needs that kind of hardware to run this game? You know, at least at the 4K resolution. This is a custom card, so we are running this using the Red Devil. This is the Power Color Red Devil. I did a full review of this video card on the channel back in December. What is that guy carrying? What is in there? What is this? What? He's got like... Okay, whatever. It does have kind of like a Witcher 3 feel to it. Like the way the game plays, like the movement, the combat, like the parring mechanic, and then you counterspell. It's very much like The Witcher 3 in that regard. It feels a lot like The Witcher 3. More so like The Witcher as opposed to something like Elden Ring or Forspoken or Monster Hunter World or those type of games. You have the Red Devil, and it's amazing. What kind of temps do you hit when gaming at 4K Ultra? You know, like really, really low. I can check. I can just open like Task Manager real quick just to check without opening up like GPU-Z or anything. So right now, 66 Celsius. I'm running 66 Celsius at 99% utilization. So yeah, and I can't even hear the graphics card. The fans on this thing don't spin up above like 1200 RPM. So it's like dead silent. I can't hear the GPU over the case fans. There are areas that you can see the RT. Oh yeah, another one. Okay, so probably outside the castle is where it'll be more noticeable, like in the actual, like the Forbidden Woods or the Forbidden Forest or whatever it's called. That's probably where it'll make more of a difference.
What are you up to now?
Oh, what am I up to? We'll see. Where are you guys going? Where are you guys going? Dude, this is cool. Oh yeah, I was over here earlier. Okay. Yeah, this is where I learned how to figure out how to solve the riddle to open these special doors. These doors with the symbols on them, they remind me of those red decoder. Like, if anybody's ever played like Xenosaga on the PlayStation 2, I know that's like a really old game. That's like console 6th generation. But like Xenosaga had these doors. They were called decoder doors, and they were red. And you had to find like the keys hidden in the game world to be able to open them, and they were numbered. This is kind of like that. Like you have to solve a riddle, a mathematical puzzle to basically open these doors. And that one over there was basically the one that teaches you how to actually do it. But it's not like super noticeable how to solve it at first glance. So I like how they did it. Like they basically the way, well, I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but essentially every symbol, every one of these like animal, like the unicorn, all these symbols on the circles, they correspond to a number. And you have to do like addition and subtraction to figure out which actual animal symbol or fantastic beast symbol actually is the one you need to select to open the door. So it's pretty interesting. Control Shift 0 for AMD overlay. I think I disabled all my overlays. They're not gonna show up on stream. I can tell you right now. Like if I if I open the overlay. It's Control Shift O. Oh, it's actually like doing stuff in the game. So no, that's not really working. Like for me, I typically turn off all my overlays. Yeah, it's not gonna show on stream. I have to do like a bunch of custom stuff to get it to actually show up. Like I learned all of that when I was recording the footage for Spoken, like last week, or like 2 weeks ago. I forget when that was.
Off on another adventure, are we?
What is this? Okay. Shouldn't she be in class, and where did this ladder come from? That's cool. Okay. Oh, is this the... Oh, this is actually a classroom. Why is there a classroom where you have to climb a ladder to get into the classroom? This must be that one class that was in, like, the divination class or something? The one that was in the Half-Blood Prince? Or was it Deathly Hallows or something?
Revelio.
Palmistry? Palmistry? Palm reading. Okay. Oh, you ran into that problem? Yeah, I did a whole video about that. Like, I have a whole video on the channel talking about, like, whoa, what the heck? She just came out of nowhere. Scared me. Is this the teacher? How did she get... She must have, like... Did she climb up in here? There's, like, no other entrance. This makes me think of that one room where that one... Dolores Umbridge, the nasty... Like, the mean, nasty teacher. The, what is... She's, like, a sadist-type teacher. In Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. Like, the 5th movie. Or the 5th book. I think this was the classroom that she was in. Because, I don't know, doesn't this look like... Okay, doesn't this look like the room where she was with the desk? And she had all those, like, cat pictures behind her or something? This looks familiar. It looks vaguely familiar. It's been a long time since I've seen the Harry Potter movies. Like, it's been years. So, I'm just trying to remember in my mind, like, what... Okay. That teacher is like, okay. Maybe I need to leave. This game already looks better than Elden Ring. Oh yeah, it looks better than Elden Ring. I could tell without even playing the game. Like when I first saw the gameplay footage, assuming it was actual real in-game footage, not some like pre-rendered thing, I was like, okay, yeah, this game already looks better than Elden Ring. But From Software games have never actually really been...
Revelio.
about the graphics. It's more about like the gameplay and the world and the like hidden lore and all that stuff. All right, well, I guess I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah, Pete, I was thinking the exact same thing when I first... So, when I first was playing this game off stream, like yesterday, just to get through the tutorial part, like the character creation, and you have to go through the first 40 minutes is like a whole tutorial, where it teaches you like the basic, you know, like this is how to walk around, look around, these are the controls to fire off a spell. These are the control, like, you know, use this to cast a spell, etc. Use this to fight, to blast, like, enemies and stuff. And then, like, to aim, you know, etc. Like, all those things. Like, I was already thinking, like, This game currently is the front runner in my mind for Game of the Year. I know we're very, very early in the year. We're only in February. But you guys remember, when Elden Ring came out, it was February of last year. In my mind, like within the first 2 hours of playing Elden Ring, I was thinking to myself, okay, this is I'm playing Game of the Year. I'm only 2 hours in, and I already know that Elden Ring is Game of the Year. And it's only February 2022, and I'm sitting there thinking, I am playing Game of the Year right now. And we're only 2 months in to 2022. You know, so in my mind, like, Hogwarts Legacy, I've only played it for about 2-3 hours or so. And I don't have the same sort of, you know, awe-inspired feeling of this is absolutely Game of the Year the way I did when I played Elden Ring last year. But currently, this game does definitely feel, at least right now, early in 2023, this definitely feels like it's probably going to be on the list for Game of the Year. And the fact that this game, I'm not saying it's going to win Game of the Year. I'm saying that it might be like a nominee for Game of the Year. Because it definitely seems like it should be a contender for Game of the Year. And I feel like the pre-sales of this game, like the pre-orders and all, like the amount of people that bought this game, like the fact that for the last like 2 to 3 weeks, basically like all of January, if you guys check like Steam sales figures, like what's the top selling game, like this game was right up there with a bunch of like free-to-play games, like this and like Dota 2 and Counter-Strike and some other, you know, like some old games that have been around forever. And it's like, this is a game that you have to pay full price on Steam for as a pre-order. And it's literally like #1 best-selling. And it wasn't even out yet. And I was like, okay, that alone tells me there is so much hype. There is so much momentum behind this game. Just like how Elden Ring was when it launched. So, yeah, like definitely this game is a contender for Game of the Year. Yeah, it'll be interesting because I feel like compared to last year, this year has a lot more actual games that, because when you think about, like, anytime I ask someone, you know, like, what were like 5 games that you played last year, you're like, typically the response is like Elden Ring, League of Legends, or like it's either some like perpetual, you know, multiplayer game like League of Legends or Counter-Strike, or you know, no one I know really plays like Call of Duty or Battlefield, but you know, someone might say one of those, and then like maybe Overwatch 2 if they remember it. You know, like that's the thing. So it's like there's only so many games that you can actually remember when you think about it. But like the general response was Elden Ring, League of Legends, Genshin Impact, and probably like some other mobile games or something, you know, like, so that's why you could tell, oh yeah, Elden Ring is definitely Game of the Year. Maybe God of War Ragnarok, but God of War Ragnarok was PlayStation 5 exclusive. So you know, that says a lot when a exclusive console game is able to make it to the Game of the Year contending list, an actual nominee, and almost win, or at least win in a bunch of other things too. Some of them I didn't really agree with, like Best Soundtrack, for example. I still think that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 on the Nintendo Switch was way, way better in terms of soundtrack last year. But there was only really like a handful of games. Like if I asked someone to, on the spot, name like 7 games that that were new that you played in 2022, you know, Elden Ring's probably gonna be on that list. But after like Elden Ring, what are they gonna say? You know, like maybe Halo, God of War Ragnarok, maybe Horizon Forbidden West. You know, but God of War and Horizon Forbidden West, you have to have a PlayStation 5 to play those games. At least you had to last year. And currently you still have to have one. So you played Halo, Call of Duty, Black Ops. See, I don't play a lot of shooters, so that's not really my thing. Minecraft, God of War 2018, a lot last year. Oh, God of War 2018. Oh, the original remake, yeah. Yeah, the ones that came to PC. Yeah. Like Horizon Zero Dawn. Horizon Zero Dawn came to the PC. Well, you know, like another game that I haven't finished that came out last year was Resident Evil Village. I still haven't finished that game. Wait, what's up? Let's keep going upstairs, actually.
Oh, nice to see you.
Actually, no, we did go upstairs. Yeah. At least the ladder. So let's go downstairs. I want to try. You know what I want to do? Before I go to class, I want to find the entrances to the other 3 houses. I want to find the entrance to Slytherin, Gryffindor, and Hufflepuff. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go look for the entrances to those 3 dorms. So I have no idea. This is cool. I'm not gonna use any map. I mean, obviously they're not gonna be on the map because I haven't found them. But let's see if we can find them just by randomly running around. Oh wow, this is big. I don't remember this fountain in the movie at all. Like, I really don't remember this.
Revelio.
And there's like a noise. They use like the Bloodborne bell sound. And I think the closer you are to it, the louder that bell gets. Okay, yeah, it's actually positional audio, so I can hear like. Okay, it's this way. Okay, it's over here. Maybe it's just the fountain. Oh, okay, it was this. Central Hall Fountain. Okay, you know, and what I like about this game is if you want to do keyboard and mouse. So now I'm gonna try keyboard and mouse. Keyboard and mouse controls really good, just like not as good as like Genshin Impact, but better than like Monster Hunter World. Because Monster Hunter World on keyboard and mouse was a little bit janky, but it was better than like Elden Ring. Elden Ring on keyboard and mouse was terrible. So this game, I can confidently say, for anybody who wants to play this game and they're on the fence on does it have good keyboard and mouse support, the answer is yes, absolutely. It does control really well on keyboard and mouse. So I'm using keyboard and mouse now just to kind of show like how it looks. Ooh, found a new chest. Okay, I got like a hat. I got like a wizard hat. So that's something that I can't do yet. I haven't figured out how to interact with those. I don't have any kind of lock-picking spell or whatever.
Lumos.
So I can do Lumos. And then if I want to do Revelio, that's like R.
Revelio.
Okay. You'll never own another Nintendo console ever again. I really want a Switch 2. I want to go back and finish Xenoblade Chronicles 3 and 2. I actually haven't finished 2 now I think about it. But I just couldn't bring myself to play Xenoblade Chronicles 3 to completion last year. Just because the graphics were just so... I don't know, it just looks so bad. Okay, so here's a puzzle. So we got like a door puzzle. So I gotta figure out first where, okay, so this one is the first one. So that's gonna be the top one. So the total is 21. So we have 11 plus whatever that fantastic beast is. So that's gonna be 0, 1, 2. So that's gonna be 13. So I need 8. The answer, the question mark is 8. So that's gonna be this guy. There. So that's number 8. Because that's the spider. And now I need to find wherever the other one is. So the other one is what? Total 17. So we have 9 plus. Wait, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So 9 plus 5. So that's what? 14. And the total is 17. So we need a 3. So we need to go find the 3-headed Hydra. I need to figure out where to put that because I don't see it over here. But see, like that. So I feel like this game is gonna be enjoyable for anybody who likes riddles, puzzles, like different types of puzzles, like mathematical ones, symbol-based ones, you know, that kind of stuff. Like if you like that sort of things in your games, like your single-player adventure games, then you know this is gonna be a great, enjoyable experience. Because this does have a lot of random like puzzle things. So we gotta go find the second one of these. So the one with the double question mark. You know, and we have to put the three-headed Hydra on that. So wherever that is.
Revelio.
So sometimes I can use it to kind of show me. You can kind of also see like what's behind that door with Revelio. So you can see like there's something in there. There's like a treasure chest or something. Oh, there's like two. There's a big one and there's like a small one. Oh, this goes outside. I don't think we want to go outside yet. Oh, now there's a fog. Yeah, this game does have weather effects. Like I've seen it rain, and I've seen like obviously cloudy. So it does have weather. It does have the time of day changes, but it doesn't change perpetually. It only changes as you advance, as you do certain like quests and stuff. Then time in the game will actually advance. You can't escape equations. Even in game, you can't escape equations. Yeah, where is that thing though? I guess it's like somewhere over here. Oh wait, what's this?
Revelio.
Okay. Yeah, the PC controls are actually very much like Horizon Zero Dawn, if anybody played that. Like, jump is space. You know, it's pretty standard stuff. You know, sprint is hold down the shift button. I think you have like a dodge roll when you're in combat. I can't really do that right. Oh yeah, control. So control is your like dodge roll. You know, so you can like look like a complete weirdo, like somersaulting up the stairs in like school. You know, that's a good way to attract unwanted attention. So yeah, I don't know where that other symbol is on the wall. Haven't been able to figure out where that is yet. So anyway, we'll eventually find it, I guess. So anyway, let's try to find the, if I find it, I'll just choose that symbol. I just have to remember three-headed Hydra. But anyway, let's kind of look for these houses, these dorms. What's this? Oh, that's just a teleport. That's so these things, so you guys are wondering, like these green things, these flames, these are your fast travel points. So once you discover these, you know, then you have like a fast travel map right here. So you can actually fast travel back to those points that you discovered. So that's cool. So you don't have to constantly like run back and forth. Well, that's weird. Wait, did I just find a bug? Hey, was that supposed to open? Oh, okay. Oh, that was kind of a glitch. The door didn't animate. Hey, I think I found... Okay, that's a minor bug. Look at that. It opened, but... Okay, it's not opening properly. That's really interesting. That's the first actual bug that I've actually seen with this game. It's not a bug, it's magic. Portal RTX. Wait, what's this? Oh, this is the room for like one of the class, like the potions class, I think. This is like the potions class. It must be.
Revelio.
I think I saw something. Yeah. Professor Sharp's Auror badge. Aurors, those are like potion masters, if I remember. I think like in the movie or the books, Harry Potter wanted to be an Auror. Or maybe it was, no, I think it was one of those two. I can't remember. It was in Half-Blood Prince when like Professor McGonagall saw them just like loitering around, not going to class. And she was like, hey, you guys need to go take potions because you have nothing else to do. Because they were like upperclassmen. I think they were like, that was Half-Blood Prince, so that was like, what, year 6 for them? So it's basically like a 11th grader. You know, if we're talking like high school years. So in this game, for those wondering, like you play as a 5th year. A 5th year basically means you're a sophomore. You're basically a 10th grader. So you're what, like 15, 16 years old in this game? Which basically means you're like how Harry Potter was in Order of the Phoenix. Okay, yeah, I guess there's nothing. So obviously this class is not in session. And this guy has nothing to say to me. Because I really have not done anything to advance the story. So I guess none of the dialogue events for the teachers have really loaded in yet. Or I haven't gotten to the point where they're actually going to interact with me. Oh, this is weird. So this is going like down. Oh no, oh, okay, hold on. I think I recognize this. So I was over here earlier. All I know is that if I want to find Slytherin, I have to somehow find... I have to keep working my way down. Because Slytherin is like in the dungeon. So I have to keep going down. I shouldn't go up, I need to go down. But you know, just like in Elden Ring and Dark Souls, sometimes you have to go up to work your way down. That's the cool thing about level design from From Software. So okay, this goes down. Let's see. Let's see where this might actually go outside. Okay, no. You started playing this?
Revelio.
There's something over here. Oh wait.
I get nervous when the owls fly into the Great Hall. I'm bound to crash into me.
What alignment will you choose? I already chose my alignment. Oh, you mean like good or evil? I haven't decided yet. I haven't really decided yet. I'm not far enough in the game where I'm able to like do anything. Like I can't really like deal any damage to anybody yet. Bell Tower Courtyard.
What are you up to now?
Ew, okay. That's creepy.
Revelio.
There's so many things in the castle that are almost like museum exhibits. So it's like typically if you just run up to something and you cast Revelio, you might just see what, or you know, get some Bicetrice type stuff. Okay, so there's nothing there. Can I go through here? This is probably gonna go outside. No, it's locked.
Have you ever been to the kitchens? I hear it's run by house elves.
Oh, okay, there's something here too.
Revelio.
That looks like the Horn of Boromir from the Fellowship of the Ring, even though that has nothing to do with the wizarding world. Goblin artifact. Okay, so the goblins use horns, but the goblins and elves are interesting in this game, or in this world, because they don't need wands to channel their magic. Like they can actually just do it by hand. Which makes me wonder, like, if... Oh, wait a minute. I think we're on the right track. Okay. Where does this go? Oh, wait a minute. No, is that just the Hogwarts logo? Never mind. I thought we were going to, like, Hufflepuff or Slytherin. Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. We're getting somewhere. We're working our way down.
Revelio.
Sleeping dragon statue. Yeah, that's the thing. Oh, see, I'm already level 5 and I haven't even gone to a single class yet. So that's cool. That's like, this is like grinding levels just by exploring. Level 2. Wait, I heard something.
Revelio.
Oh, there's ghosts. There's ghosts chasing. Okay, so
Let us keep our heads about this. I'm so sorry. I didn't.
I noticed the music. The music stopped playing. So we're in like an area that we're not supposed to be or something. Interesting.
Lumos.
You're gonna arrive in class guessing a supernova. Yeah, I'm gonna be like super over leveled probably. What's in there? That's like something out of like Resident Evil. Almost. Oh, okay. Found something. Mostly like clothes so far. Oh wait, that opens? This opened.
Revelio.
Okay, we're going somewhere and there's no music, so it means we're probably not supposed to be here. What is this? Okay. I don't think this is the way to Slytherin.
Revelio. Lumos.
Okay, so I found like some underground area. We're like underneath the castle, I think. Alright, let's go back. There's nothing else I can do there yet. Yeah. That's cool. Okay, so that, yeah, so how did I even get there? I like turned to the right from the, okay, so from the dragon statue, you just go straight and then to the right. There's like another door there. And then this is another door I can't open. Okay, so that's all that was down there.
Revelio.
It's like so many things on display. Urn of Ashes. Pioneer in Dragon Taming. Collected field guide. So I only need like 2 more for some achievement or something. I don't understand what's the point of like going down there. Like students are going down there for what? There's like really not a lot in there. Wait, hold on. So this goes back to... Have I been here before? Okay, yeah, yeah, I've been
Handy
here.
resource indeed, your field guide.
So let's go up, I guess. I just want to find one of those 3 dorms. I don't know if I've been up here. Okay, this looks different. Yeah, that's new. Another one of those weird treasure chests with an eyeball. It looks like an interesting non-stressful game to just play and pass the time. Yeah, that's a simplified way to put it. Yeah, but I'd say that's accurate. What is this? Hold on. So,
Revelio.
what is this? Frog Choir. So we somehow wandered into another classroom, I get, yeah. Oh, this is like the music classroom? Yeah, this is the music room. That's cool.
Revelio.
So this is actually an actual object. Oh! Callisto Protocol is a stutter fest. I don't know, because I haven't played it. Oops. I didn't think that was gonna break. Wait, does that mean this is gonna break? Oh, I noticed something. You know what? There's a bell. Oh, there's two bells missing, actually. So if I bet if I knew... Oh, I have a feeling if I know the spell Reparo to fix, like, broken stuff, I can probably solve this, and this will probably unlock something. So there's, like, 3 big bells down there, and there's, like, 4 each here on these 2 rows, and it's missing 2. One of them was the one on the ground over there that we saw. I don't know where the other one is, though. It's probably higher up, or it's on the ground, like, on the floor, way down there. That's cool. Wow, this goes pretty high up. Ooh, okay. Yeah, this is cool, man. I like this game in the sense that I like, ever since I like played Demon Souls, Dark Souls, you know, all those From Software games, the satisfaction that you get just from exploring the world, just from the exploration aspect alone. I'm not even talking about like the combat and the leveling. I'm just talking about just plain exploring. Like, this game has a little bit of that. And we haven't even gone out off the campus grounds yet. Like, and there's like all this other stuff out there that I can actually go and see. Like, there's the Quidditch arena or stadium. Oh wow! I just opened like a giant treasure chest, and the only thing in there was a straw sun hat. Enter. Wait, what? Okay. It's still a... Wait. The Callisto Protocol is a more stressful game than this, for sure. What are like the system requirements for Callisto Protocol? Stuffed toy dragon. Who would put a stuffed toy dragon in like a random treasure chest on the roof of one of the classrooms? Man, I wish I had like my broom or some way to like fly around. I can't wait until I unlock like flying mounts and can fly around. Alright, I can't jump off of here. So unlike Dark Souls, you can't just like suicide off the rail and stuff. You can't do that. Right. I think that would kind of paint a, I don't know, probably wouldn't be the right message for a game where you're playing as like a 16-year-old. So, okay, so that's that. Let's go back inside. Where's the door? How do I get back in? Wait a minute. Where's the door?
Revelio.
Huh? Wait a minute. Oh, wait, hold on. I think I know what's going on. Wait a minute. One. There's no door. I bet I know where I am. I bet I know what happened. I gotta go to the frog. Hold up. Yeah, see? Okay. That's cool. So the frog basically teleported me over there. Cause see, like there's the treasure chest that I opened. There's the other frog. That is cool. it transported me across. Okay. That is pretty cool. Yeah, that's cool. I like that. Footstools. So this is stuff for like the room of requirement. That's that treasure chest that had that straw hat. Alright, that's cool. Alright, let's get out of here now. Let's go find, I really want to find, before we end the stream, I want to find the 3 other dorm entrances. So I'm gonna stream until I find those 3 rooms. Alright, let's go back out of here. Wow. What's weird is how some of the classrooms have the most... They have the most, like, random, ambiguous entrances. Like, that one classroom had a ladder. They have to climb to go in. This one, it's like it's like off the beaten path. Well, not off the beaten path, but it's like up all these stairs and like you turn the corner. It's almost like this right here gives me those vibes of like running through the Nexus in Demon Souls to go up and to talk to the Monumental. Like all these weird like 180-degree angled staircases. Oh, okay, and then we just randomly wander into another classroom. I have no idea what this one is. This one just looks like it's some generic, you know, mathematics or some whatever. I can't go back in there. Okay, this is like something like... Okay, probably not mathematics, but they have like a train on there, so that's...
Revelio.
They could put one on lower ground. Oh, so it recommends... RT on Callisto was kind of broken on NVIDIA GPUs too. 8700 or 3600 and 57 or 10. Wait, what? 57 or 1070? That isn't even. Wait, is that close? Oh yeah, that is actually. Yeah. Well, that's I mean, it's kind of close. 5700 is more like a 1080. Or actually, no, it's not. It's actually, well, no, it's actually a little bit better than a 1080. Because the 5700 XT is like a 1080 Ti. So if... Yeah. Which is better than a 1070. A 2060 Super is like a 1080.
I was playing gobstones on the kitchen floor with my cousins. Not the same here.
Man, I still haven't found like any of those rooms. I have no idea where they would be. I wonder like if we have to leave. Oh, I can't go out of here.
Revelio.
Wooden cat. I got it. Collect field guide pages. 15 out of 15. Challenge complete. I don't know what that means, but I completed a challenge. Whoa, what the... What? Oh. Oh, I know what this is. I haven't been here before, but I recognize it from, like, the trailers and stuff. I'm pretty sure this goes to the greenhouse. Yeah, this is another classroom thing. I think. I think this is where the, you learn about, like, herbs and herbology and stuff.
Revelio.
Wait, there's something over here. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, this is the room. I remember this from the movie. It's all coming back to me slowly. Just running through the castle. Like, I'm starting to remember, like, different scenes from the movies. Alright, I still need to find those other... Still need to find those other houses.
I have found Hogwarts.
It's a relief to finally have an answer as to why that book.
No idea where these are. Let's just go upstairs, I guess. Here? Does this go anywhere? Oh wait, where does this go? What's cool is, like, almost every door seems to lead somewhere. That's cool. Like, oftentimes, you know, a lot of games where you're exploring like a building or some kind of structure, a lot of the doors don't actually lead anywhere. They're just like decoration. Oh wait, defense against the dark arts. Okay, I don't want to go. I think I'm close. Oh yeah, I see the mini map now. So this will advance the story. So I do not want to go here, but I need to remember that this is where I need to go for class. Because I think I'm supposed to choose between... I have to make a choice. I have to go to like, my first class is supposed to either be Defense Against the Dark Arts, or I think, what was it, Potions or something? Like, it was one of these. So, Defense Against the Dark Arts, or Charms. Okay, so I have to pick between Charms class or Defense Against the Dark Arts. Now, we're not going to do that. We're going to do that with the A770 in another stream. So all I got to do is figure out where is the other 3 houses. Like, that's the objective. Oh, what's this? Does this go anywhere? Oh, this actually goes somewhere. So, hold up. This is going to leave and go into a different part of the castle? Ooh. What's this?
Revelio.
Uh-oh. Wait. I think I found... I recognize this. I recognize it because this is the snake. This is it. This is supposed to be the entrance. But nothing's happening. This is it. I found one of them. Okay, so this is the entrance to Slytherin.
Revelio.
And the reason why I know that is because I recognize this from the video footage showing the different houses. And this, like, if you're a... Okay, first of all, there's, like, Slytherin students walking around. But the other thing is, like, if you're an actual Slytherin and you want to go to your dorm room, this snake thing, like, rises up and reveals the door on the wall. So that's pretty cool. But I can't...
Lumos.
Oh, I can't get in. They don't want me in there. They're like, you're not allowed. And okay, this is a... Is he a Slytherin? Yeah, that's a Slytherin. So I found one of them. Hold up. Where is this? Like, this is, I want to see, like, where on Hogwarts... Where on the map is this? This is, like... way down there. So this is, like, literally in the middle of the school. So it's under the big tower. Okay, so all I gotta do is remember that it's under the big tower. So Slytherin is literally under the big tower. That's cool. Okay, I got it. So that is where they go. And she's stuck. She's stuck on the snake. You can't, like, walk. Look at that. Go, move. What? Did she, like, dodge that? thought she like ducked her head. Like what?
You could do better than that.
Seriously? What? What? Okay, and then it like reset her because she went out of the view. That's weird. Okay, so there's like random little, but those are such minor things though. The stuck moonwalk, yeah.
I've always said that travel broadens the mind.
Wait, hold up. I found a fast travel. So this is a fast travel point to Slytherin. What is this one called? Like, how do I... The base tower? Bell tower wing? No. Grand? Oh, okay. So it's from the grand staircase, and then you go. It's wait, Ravenclaw. Wait, Ravenclaw. Lower courtyard. Lower grand staircase. The lower grand staircase is where the Slytherin house is. So the Ravenclaw one is actually... Okay, so this smaller tower off to the side of the really big one is the Ravenclaw tower. And then Slytherin is at the base of the grand staircase. They're in the lower grand staircase. Okay. So they're not too far from each other. I guess they're like in the same part of the castle, the same structure. Yeah, like these are not like these are not like game-breaking bugs. These are like minor little visual things. You know, like let me see if I can shove them. Let me shove them onto the. Like get over there. Like get on the thing. Get. No, can I get stuck on the snake? No, I don't. I just don't move. Okay. What that means is this is a game object that. Yeah, see, I can't walk on it. So that NPC basically, like, the collision, they got stuck or something. But that's supposed to come up. So that's how you get into Slytherin. So that's cool. So now I just need to find the other two. If I remember, like, from the movies, Gryffindor is somewhere, like, has something to do with this.
I've never encountered an aura quite like yours. You are truly exceptional.
How nice to see you, my young friend.
Well, that goes pretty high up there. Where is this? What is this? Wait, hold up. Where am I? This place looks... Oh, I think I found another one. Yeah, it's auto-saving. I found Hufflepuff. I found Hufflepuff. This is it. I recognize it from the trailer. So, yeah, that's it. That's the door. So the one that shoots like the vinegar at you is the one. So this isn't the right door. Is it this one? Okay, it's got to be that last one. This is it. This is the entrance to Hufflepuff, because if you're not a Hufflepuff, they would reject you, and this will spray like vinegar in your eyes. What? Oh, what? A Hufflepuff just like walked through the wall. Like, she just walked through the door. Maybe there's like a bug where I can like break through that wall and like get into the dorm somehow. That's cool. Hufflepuff actually has like a defense system that doesn't let you actually go in there.
Lumos. Revelio.
Yeah, there's the badger. This is definitely it. So wow, that's weird. They're like right next to each other. Where is this? So this is... Where is this? There's like no fast travel point near this thing? The grand... Oh, wait. grand staircase? Lower grand staircase. So wait, is Hufflepuff and Slytherin like literally right next to each other? There's just like a castle wall dividing the two of them? That's grand staircase town. Hold on, let me fast travel here. See where this takes me.
You can't imagine how inconvenient travel was before I invented flu powder.
It puts me here. Yeah, okay. So to get to Hufflepuff, you just go down these spiral stairs where it looks kind of like run down.
Revelio.
Whoops. Helga Hufflepuff's original creations, the House Elf recipe book. Okay, I found two of them, and they're actually relatively close to each other. So Hufflepuff and Slytherin. So now I know where they are. That's cool because, you know, like I always wondered where they actually were. Like back years ago, like when the movies, you know, like when I watch the movies, I'm like, where are these guys? Where are the dorms? Like where are they at? So now I know where they're at. They're actually pretty close. That's surprising how close they are to each other. Cause like this one, so they're there, and then Slytherin is literally.
I've always said that travel broadens the mind.
Slytherin is over. Yeah, over here. You'll see, like we're going down, and Hufflepuff is like over there. Wait, what? It's hard to see. Am I going the right way? Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about. Maybe I'm going the wrong way. Oh yeah. I was right. Okay, see? That's it. This wall right here, this is the entrance to Slytherin. So you go through this door, you go up the stairs, this big spiral stairs. And Hufflepuff is just over here down those stairs. Okay, so that just leaves Gryffindor. They're the only ones left.
The path you walk is precarious. You should return.
What's that? Okay, I was over here earlier. So it's not going to be over there as far as I know. That leads back to like the mess hall, so... What's this? It's gotta be somewhere... Hold up, these students are Ravenclaw, these students are... Typically, sometimes the students are a dead giveaway. Slytherin, Gryffindor...
I've no doubt that Blackwood is
Gryffindor.
the worst headmaster.
Is it over here? Gryffindor is in a tower somewhere.
Be rewarded.
Revelio.
What's this? Map of Argyle Shire? Map of Argyle Shire. A region in Scotland which contains the Hebrides? Okay. Well, this leads outside. This leads to another building, which I don't know what this is. I'm starting to think that actually all four of them are probably just in this part of the castle. Because Ravenclaw is literally the tower in the middle of the castle. And the other two are like down here. So that means I'm gonna bet Gryffindor is probably this tower. Because it's supposed to have its own tower. I know it's tower-based. This is the meeting hall, the Great Hall, whatever that was. This down here is where Snape died. I think this thing was where Dumbledore fell to his death. Something like that. Clock Tower Courtyard.
Handy resource indeed, your field guide. I'm most pleased to be included.
Oh, there's a pendulum in here. Wait a minute. This looks like the room where Voldemort was. I don't remember. That doesn't open. Wait, that's supposed to... Oh, okay. So it does open, but it's not opening for me.
Must we go back to practicing our skills?
Alright, this will take me somewhere. Whoa.
Lumos.
Imperial gray and silver? Is it like dye for glamour? There's like a bunch of wands right here. Whoa.
Whoa.
That's pretty cool. I don't remember those frogs, if they were in the movies or not. I don't remember that at all. Like if that was a thing.
Sharp caught me making fate.
Man, that Gryffindor house is well hidden.
Revelio.
How do I get upstairs? Oh wait, oh there is a stairs. Oh, I found it. I found it. That's it.
No password, no entrance.
No password, no entrance. Well, okay.
Revelio.
So this is the entrance to Gryffindor. It's behind the fat lady portrait. But I don't know the password, so I can't get in. So that's it. That's actually... So where is this? Okay, so it's not exactly where I thought. Well, actually, you know what? I think it's one of these. Probably the... Yeah, it's this tower. But I'm not like up here. I thought it would be higher up. Cause I remember in the movies there was this place where like the stairs would shift. They would like move 90-degree angles. I thought Gryffindor was somewhere there, but apparently not. So that's probably another part of the castle. It's probably like in a different building or something. But okay, so that means That means Gryffindor is basically here. Ravenclaw is up here. So Ravenclaw's higher up. And then the other two are like down here in the lower parts of this big tower. That's cool. So they are all kind of like in this main building here. Is there a fast travel point like close to this? No? Where's the closest fast travel? Or I guess what I should do is I should go back here and I should open the map and figure out like what is the actual closest one. Where am I? South Wing. South Wing. Oh, wait a minute. There's two that I haven't discovered. So you can actually use the mini-map to kind of tell you like how many bonfire things are in a given area. Faculty Tower. Clock Tower Court. That's not it. So Faculty Tower. Hold on, that's like way back there. That's closer to like Slytherin and Hufflepuff, I think. All right, let's fast travel to Faculty Tower, then see where Gryffindor's entrance is relative to that. And then I'm probably gonna end the stream after that. So that puts me here. Okay, so that puts me like just past this, and I know Slytherin is literally down. It's like down below where I'm standing. And then Hufflepuff is literally like... Was it over here? No. Okay, never mind. No. Hufflepuff is there somewhere. Over there. Downstairs. And then Slytherin is like underneath where I am. Like down there. So, okay. So that means Gryffindor is like... You run over here. You go up these stairs. At least I think so. Yeah, and then and then right there. Okay. See, the thing about like me, this game does. I can see there's a mini map, but I'm so used to Elden Ring and like the big the From Software games that I would rather be able to get to the places by memorizing where they are, like in the actual game world. So that's cool. Like obviously I'm gonna use fast travel, but you know, like this tells me, you know, okay, Slytherin is there, Ravenclaw, or not Ravenclaw, Hufflepuff's over there, and then now the last one, Ravenclaw is actually not that much further. Wait, hold up. It's not that far from these guys, because it's the main tower, or it's the middle tower. So that means, see, look, I just gotta run, like, up here, and then that's it. So actually, I'm already going kind of in the right direction. I just go, like, this way. Yeah, I'll be playing a lot more. The next stream will be on Intel Arc A770 to see how it runs on a more, like, mid-range GPU. I've already found Ravenclaw. That's cool. Oh, they are all pretty interconnected, actually. So, who's the closest to Ravenclaw? Gryffindor? You go down? I wish I could, like, jump over, but they don't let you do that. Ah, I see. Okay, so they are kind of close. So, Gryffindor is up those stairs. You go up the stairs, and it's, like, down the hall. And then Ravenclaw is up this tower, and then it'll like go to its own tower. So you go up, like this, or is it? Yeah, and then across. So hold on, Gryffindor is back that way. Yeah, see, like, through that walkway, and then up, that and around. That's Gryffindor, and then this one is Ravenclaw. Because right now we're going to the big tower. So, see, like, we're going to the middle tower, this one. So I'm gonna run across, and then go up, and then this is Ravenclaw. If I want to go to Gryffindor, I'm gonna go down the stairs, and run this way, then go that way, and then up the stairs, and I'm like, this is Gryffindor. And then, like, the other two are behind where I am right now. They're just underneath where I am. That's cool. So all four of them are actually relatively close to each other in a way, because Ravenclaw is literally this way. And you just go up these stairs. And Ravenclaw, you actually have to climb a lot of stairs. It's like really high up. There it is. There we go. There's my room. Okay, let's go to my actual room. I think Ravenclaw has the best dorm house. Like, this is way nicer than Gryffindor in my opinion. But I don't know how, because I haven't actually been in the other two. Like Gryffindor, I'm just comparing this to the Harry Potter movies. Like Ravenclaw, this rendering of Ravenclaw, just like this I guess artist vision of Ravenclaw is just straight up better than the Gryffindor house in the movies. So
What are you up to now?
I don't know, you know what, I'm trying to think, like, if I play on Arc, maybe I'll do like a different run on like Hufflepuff or Slytherin so we can look at those houses. I might actually do that. You know what I might do? I'm just thinking, like, right now for Intel, man, Intel's colors are kind of like blue, so probably like Ravenclaw, but there's no reason to do that. So I'm not gonna start all over for another Ravenclaw. But I'm thinking, like, when I do 3090 Ti or 3080 Ti, I'll probably do Slytherin because it's green, so we can actually look at the Slytherin house. And then yeah, and then for, like, well, AMD, so I guess if we revisit AMD with like a different Radeon card, like a maybe, you know, 6700 XT, 60 or 79, well, 7900 XT, I can already tell is going to run this game just fine, because it's like a little bit weaker than the XTX, but yeah, this runs the game perfectly fine at ultra settings, 4K, maxed out, no problem. But I'm going to probably test like I'll do Gryffindor, and I'll have to be on a Radeon card for that, and we'll probably look at like a lower end Radeon card. Maybe something really old, because like Joel was saying, you know, like, how would the game run on a 6600? So I don't have a 6600, but I do have a 5700 XT. I do have a Radeon 7, a Vega 64. I could test any of those. So you got, like, if you guys think it's worth testing one of those really old, well, not really old, but like they're relatively old, right? Like 2019 or 2017 graphics cards. Maybe I should do GTX 1080 for the Slytherin run. Well, no, that's really old. I don't know about that. That's the only... See, that's the thing, like, I got a lot of AMD Radeon cards from, like, over the years. But NVIDIA, I only have, like, 970, 1080. I could actually try... Yeah, well, I mean, you know, like, either of those, and then everything else is, like, much newer. So it's like, I only have, now that I think about it, I have 4 NVIDIA graphics cards. You're surprised they don't have Bluetooth wand support for this game? Do they have the Bluetooth wands? So, like, okay, I have this right here. I have with me my Harry Potter wand. So my wand, for those wondering, is the Elder wand. So this is the Elder wand from the Deathly Hallows. or AKA the one that Dumbledore had before he died. And then, like, Snape took it from his grave. And it didn't work right because technically Malfoy was the owner of this wand. But I do have here the Elder Wand. You guys can see it's got, like, the weird bone-looking, like, things on there. And there's that weird-looking design right there. That's the Elder Wand. So this is the Elder Wand. Supposed to be the most powerful wand. So I have it. This is like the only, this is literally like the only Harry Potter Wizarding World thing that I actually have. It just so happens to be one of the Deathly Hallows, like the Elder Wand. Of all the wands, it's like I have the Elder Wand, so it's like, okay, whatever. So hopefully I can customize the wand in the game to look something like this, you know, like with this, it's like similar shape, you know, like the knobs, the way the bottom of it looks here. So yeah, so I have this. You mentioned the Bluetooth ones. Yeah, I'm sure like Universal Studios or wherever the Harry Potter like the stuff is to get those things, I'm sure that there's probably like an uptick in sales of those things recently. But this is pretty cool. This game is actually pretty good. Like look at the fire effect. It doesn't do anything. All right. Look at this. Check this out. Check this out. They don't want me to go. They're like, no, you shall not pass. I walk away from them. They chill out. I walk up to them. They're like, no.
How nice to see you, my young friend.
This is a pretty cool room. I'm not gonna lie. I really like the Ravenclaw house. This house looks legit. And this is supposed to be like 1800s. This is the late 1800s.
He said I had a complexion like a hippocampus egg. Fancy saying that? I think it's because I don't sleep well.
Accidentally levitated Professor Roman's sandwich once. He was fine about it. Actually complimented me on my woodwork.
Do you think we'll learn how to brew Amaltentia? Strongest love potion, they say. Not that I care, you understand. I was just wondering.
You haven't been to the Orlando park
Must be a nosy
where you
class with
get
a heart on it.
and use those
Bright
ones?
red.
Natty doesn't seem to mind having.
Yeah, I mean, so I.
Hide in my common rooms that we need.
Let's just say, like, I have some stuff that I can show for like for Star Wars when the Star Wars Jedi Survivor game comes out. If and when that shows up, because it got postponed.
I don't find her body the least bit.
Cause I've got like the Elder one, but I also have, you know, like
The garlic didn't do a thing.
Darth Sidious's lightsaber and, you know, that kind of stuff. So, you know, we'll see. I don't know.
We'll be making that.
Those are like the only things that I have though from those theme parks. You know, a lightsaber from Disney World's Hollywood Studios, and the Elder one from the Harry Potter one in the Universal Studios.
Unless you accidentally uproot baby man.
I think I'll go for a quick.
Yeah, they're pretty cool though. They're pretty cool to have. Okay, so I can't get in there. You know what? I think I'm pretty sure this door leads to the roof of the castle, above the Ravenclaw house, because I remember watching. It was a reviewer or somebody was showing like they were flying around on their broomstick or something, and they flew past the Raven. Like what I remember seeing in the footage was basically this, like this dome, except from the outside. So you could see this on the roof. So I was like, okay. And there was a door as he flew by, and I figure, you know, this door is probably that door from the outside is what he was looking at. So that's... Yeah, this is a pretty good game, not gonna lie. For a single-player game, and, you know, I haven't really done a whole lot in the game, right? Like, I haven't done any story quests. I haven't done any side quests. I haven't gone to class yet. So, for me, it's still gonna be very, very going in blind on these live streams. So, I might do a little bit of playing around, like, off-stream. Like, if anything, what I'll probably do... I'll probably create 3 more characters. One for Slytherin, one for one for Hufflepuff and Gryffindor. So I have like all 4 houses available. Because I'm trying to think like what will be an easy... Because this game, unlike Forspoken, this game doesn't have a built-in benchmark. So there's no way to easily compare a bunch of graphics cards in a relatively short amount of time compared to, you know, a game that has a built-in benchmark, for instance. So I do kind of want to put content like graphics card comparisons for Hogwarts Legacy, because I think that can be useful for a lot of people who have, especially people who have older PCs or older graphics cards, and they're wanting to play this game, but they're not 100% sure if they should just, you know, play it on console or wait for like the PS4 edition or whatever in April. So, like, if someone has, say, like a GTX 1080 or a Vega or, you know, anything around those 2 cards, because there are a lot of graphics cards that are very similar to Vega 64 and the GTX 1080. You know, like 2060 Super, for instance. The 30, I think the 3050, or like maybe the 3050 Ti laptop, maybe. I'm not 100% sure there. But somewhere like even 3060 it's better than that, but not that much better than those cards. So it's like, I feel like if I showcase maybe Radeon 7, because Radeon 7 is basically 1080 Ti, you know, that covers a lot of different things. Like, it hits a lot of different areas. The laptop 3050 Ti is much weaker than the desktop 3050. You have a ton of master replica sabers from the early... Oh, wow. Really? Okay, that's cool. So I actually have a few lightsabers. I know I said Darth Sidious. I have Darth Sidious lightsaber from what's it? Doc Ondor's in Hollywood Studios. But I do also have a couple others. I don't know if I'm going to spoil the full list. But let's just say I have one of every color of lightsaber, except for any kind of weird like orange or stuff like that. Only 4 GB of VRAM on the 3050 Ti is trash. Oh, well, it's a laptop. It's a laptop GPU. Oh, you built your 7950, 64 gig, 6000 4090. How is that working out for you? Are you using 2 sticks of 32 or using 4 sticks of 16? I'm pretty sure it's the former. 4090 Aorus Master PC over the weekend and ended up installing newest F8 BIOS from... Yeah, the newest BIOS... See, what I have found, though, is that memory, like... Do you put your computer to sleep? Do you put your computer in S3 standby? AKA sleep? Because I have found that if I run my RAM at 6,000... Well, I don't know about the latest BIOS, because I'm not on the latest BIOS. I'm still on the Agisa 1003. But what I have found is... when I'm using 6,000 megahertz RAM on the Aorus Master, 64 gigs at that speed, and it could just be that my RAM is not binned well enough to handle 6,000 because I'm only running like 50 or 5600 megahertz DIMMs. We talked about it on a previous live stream, but if I run my RAM overclocked at 6,000, if I put my computer to sleep and then I wake it up, sometimes like some games, not really games, but just in general, the platform doesn't really seem like it's stable to me. So I currently am not running my RAM at 6,000, but I don't actually have, I am running the same like you. I'm running two 32 gig DIMMs rated for 5600. But when I try overclocking them manually to 6,000, it doesn't really, like, it'll go to sleep and it'll wake up from sleep just fine, but when it wakes up from sleep, like when you're in Windows, certain things don't work all the time. Like, they're not stable all the time, is what I've noticed. So the only way to avoid that is to not overclock the RAM beyond its actual rated speed, or downclock the RAM. Like in, I think it was the launch BIOS or whatever. Like, I know I had to run my RAM at like 5200 megahertz. So for those, like, if you guys remember when I did the Intel versus AMD video, like, I compared the 7950X versus the 13900K. Technically, now I think I did state that, but the AMD CPU, the Ryzen CPU was running with slower RAM. So the Ryzen CPU in that video was running at 5200 megahertz. The Intel 13900K was running at 5600 megahertz when I made that video. And I figured, you know, that's on AMD and the motherboard manufacturers to update the BIOS. So I'm just gonna leave it at 5200, and that's how it is. Because at the end of the day, like, if you look at AMD's official supported speed, 5200 is the maximum official speed that is supported to work. Like, it's guaranteed to work. So, and when I put it at 5200, I can put the computer to sleep, I can wake it up, I can put it to sleep and wake it up, put it to sleep, wake it up, and it's 100% stable all the time. So, but if I start running at 6,000, not really. I mean, it works, but you have to, like, cold boot it every time. So, Intel, like, I run it at 5600, that's what it's designed for. The weird thing about Intel is, like, Intel always runs in Gear 2 mode, so it's like the IMC clock on Intel is always like, what, like half of the memory clock. So if we're talking 5600, that's what, like 28. So 2800 is your memory clock, but Intel is running at like 1400 megahertz. Because on the IMC, because it's always half. Whereas AMD, like, as long as you're like 6,000 megahertz or lower, you're able to do like a 1-to-1 U clock equals mem clock. We did a whole live stream about, like, DDR5 overclocking. Everything that I talked about in that video is basically what I'm saying here. So, so you have Trident Z5 Neo? Yeah, those are good. Oh, those are really good. Those are Hynix DIMMs. You've got SK Hynix. I can tell just by looking at the actual, like, number. J3040 instantly tells me that's SK Hynix. I can 100% say that's SK Hynix. Hands down, SK Hynix. So that's good. My memory is also SK Hynix, but it's not 6,000. So my 32 gig DIMMs are SK Hynix. My 16 gig DIMMs that I got for free when I bought the Ryzen CPU. So I got 32 gigs for free when I bought the 7950X. That is two 16 gig DIMMs of 5600, and those are Samsung DIMMs. And then when I bought the 7700X, I got two more 16 gig DIMMs for another set of 32 but those were like 6,000 megahertz RAM, and that's what I'm currently running in the Intel Arc setup with the 7700X. So I might do a video on that. You know, like, I currently, like, this streaming PC is 2 sticks of 32, The other PC, the test bench PC, is also 64, but it is actually mismatched RAM. It is 4 sticks of 16. You're getting the white trees in the 70. What do you mean white trees? No, that sounds like an unstable overclock on the memory. White trees on the, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not getting any white trees on the 7900 XTX. That sounds like an unstable overclock.
I'll take a mandrake any day over an annoying.
They were pricey, but I jumped into Expo and they have been. Yeah, and that's the thing too. I'll tell you this, like my SK Hynix DIMMs are XMP. They're G.Skill Ripjaws. So G.Skill Ripjaws are Intel XMP based profile memory. So my big 32 gig DIMMs are all Intel XMP DDR5, and all my like low density single rank DIMMs are Expo DIMMs. G.Skill Flare X5. Wait, can you... What do you mean, can you teleport outside? Can you teleport outside? You mean like from the map? You mean like teleport like somewhere outside? No, I haven't actually gone outside the school. I mean, I've been outside like between buildings, but I haven't actually been like outside the school grounds, if that's what you're saying. You're currently confirmed on 4... I don't understand what you're talking about, Pixel. Like, currently confirmed on 4... what do you mean currently confirmed what? Like, I'm not sure. I'm not understanding the full context of what you're referring to. The trees are gonna be bugged? I don't think so. Not for me. Hold on, let me go outside. Hold on. What's the fastest way out of here? So I can't go like out there, but let's go to... How do I get back to the Hogwarts map? Hold up. I'll just go here. I'll just go outside from here. You can teleport outside once you get teleport location. Yeah, okay, I'm outside. Oh, you mean this? Those over there? Hey, they're not... They were white. I saw them, but they're not white anymore. Oh, in the distance. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, that's that. Yeah, that's a bug. It's like they have snow on them that like evaporates instantly as you get closer to them. Huh. You know, I wonder if that happens when it's cloudy. Because I didn't notice that when I ran through here earlier when the sun was out. Are you sure? Is it like a known thing? Well, I guess it is now, but how do you know it's only XTX? And how do you know it's not like the 6000 series? Look at that, that's weird. Oh, you work for Sapphire? Oh, that's cool. That's actually good because that means like you guys can report that to well, okay, like typically when stuff like this happens, who fixes this? Is this like Hogwarts, like the people Portkey Games? Is Portkey Games gonna fix this? Or is this gonna be like the AMD driver team is gonna fix this? Because I'll tell you, I remember I reported a bug back when Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water came out. There was a similar rendering bug like this. And I reported to both AMD and Koei Tecmo. And Koei Tecmo, the developers, actually fixed it. Like, they actually fixed it. AMD didn't do anything. Koei Tecmo literally fixed the whole problem. Well, I don't know, because I know, like, the PlayStation 5 didn't have the problem, which was kind of weird. And the PlayStation 5 probably doesn't have this problem either. And that's all, you know, RDNA 2 based, so... Generally, the driver team will see if it's a legitimate driver bug or if it's an edge case. If it's an edge case, AMD will kindly ask the devs to fix it. Edge case as in, like, what, though? Like, what defines an edge case? Yeah, that's definitely, that's a rendering bug. It's much harder for driver teams these days because of DX12. What makes it harder? Yeah, that looks pretty bad. I wonder if it's only 7900, that means that it has something to do with the latest drivers, because if the 6000 series GPUs do not have this problem, that's because they're on a different driver fork. They're currently on an older driver fork. You fix the issue by setting the what? You set the material setting to low. Material quality. Set the quality of all materials in the world. Hold on, I'm gonna try high. And see if that fixes it. Let's see. Okay, that doesn't fix it, but does that actually, like, lower? That's interesting. Medium. I wonder if it has to do with foliage quality too, right? Like, foliage is another setting. Oh, that might just be the amount. That doesn't seem to fix it either. Okay, let's try low then. So you're saying if game devs make a game for DX12 and or Vulkan, why do GPU drivers need updates? Oh, DX12 gives devs more access to the actual hardware, so the game has more control. The driver. Oh, yeah, that makes sense actually. There's less abstraction layers with DX12. Oh, that does fix it. Okay. So you found, that's interesting. So that is definitely something that the game developers might be able to fix actually. But when I remember, like, the Maiden of Black Water issue, that was not, like, in Maiden of Black Water, there was no way to, like, fix the lighting. Like, the lighting was just broken on Radeon cards at launch. But Koei Tecmo fixed the problem. Like, they went in and they did something, because the PlayStation 5 didn't have the problem. The NVIDIA graphics cards didn't have the problem. Because I remember when I reported the bug, in fact, my post on AMD's forums might still exist to this day. If you guys want to see what that bug looked like. Actually, let me find that post. I want to see if it's still up there. So, let me see here. Hold on. I gotta find... Hold on. Where is it at? I'm trying to remember what the name of that post was, actually. It was something along the lines of fatal frame maiden of black water rendering issue or something like that. Like, I think, hold on, did I do one in Steam? Did I put one in Steam community too? Let me see. No, so somebody else did. So someone reported it in the Steam forums, but I actually did like a pretty in-depth like post. Here, let me show you guys like this thing. Hold on. Yeah, well, so like, so because you work for Sapphire, that's really cool. I actually always wanted to work for one of the like the ISVs or the AIBs. But what? Yeah. So let me show you guys this. This is what I did. I made this post, you know, a while back. Let me just make sure like I'm gonna be able to share this. Yeah, so this, I should be able to share this. Where is it at? Is the game covering it up? No. Hold on. Why is it not showing up? Wait a minute. Why is this, game? Window? Maybe? Hold, yes? No? Maybe? Hold on. Oh, that's really bright. Hold on. Come on. Where is this thing? Why is this not working now? Oh, there it is. Okay. Here we go. Okay. So I report. So this is a similar issue, but this is a much lesser known game, right? But this is an example. So look. So this is how it's supposed to look, like in terms of the lighting. This is how I took this screenshot from the PlayStation 5 version of the game. Now I also tested it with my GTX 1080 because back then I didn't have a 3080 Ti or a 3090 Ti back then to test for comparison. So I had to load up my old GTX 1080 and I verified that the Nvidia card did not have the lighting problem. And nor did the RDNA 2 based PlayStation 5. You guys can see that's the PlayStation 5 controller. This is a PS5 screenshot. So this is the RX 6700 XT driver version 2110. So, and this is what it looks like. So obviously the global illumination or something is broken. And the thing with this game was there was no workaround. There was no way to change like a graphical setting to fix it, right? So I reported to AMD, and then I reported it to Koei Tecmo directly, and Koei Tecmo, they asked me some stuff like send DX diag logs, whatever, you know, nonsense. I sent all that stuff, and then they were like, yeah, we tested it, we saw the problem, we'll fix it. And then they fixed it. See, it looks like the latest patch to the game fix the issue, make sure the game is updated to version 1003, which, strangely enough, that's the Agisa version on Ryzen right now, which is really weird. So stuff like this, right? Like, this is the sort of stuff that the game devs actually fixed. But this is a DX11 game, and, you know, so I write here, compared to side-by-side with PlayStation 5, since it is also AMD hardware-based and the console appears to render the in-game lighting correctly. So I'm like, obviously, this is some problem with either the driver or the game. In this case, like, the developers fixed it, so AMD didn't actually do anything. But sometimes AMD does have to actually fix something, so that probably is a more difficult issue, right? So a small change, fix on the devs end, like, in this it's only like 3 different bushes. Oh, you mean for the Hogwarts Legacy? Okay, so yeah, because I think like I think a bunch of people, yeah, see, like a bunch of people were complaining. Someone showed like you know, like that was an issue, because this game isn't really that popular in the West, but this game is pretty popular like in Asia, and like look at here is like someone else showed like an RX 6600 XT, like this is too dark. And this is the PlayStation 5. So, you know, obviously. But these are the sort of things, right? Like, at launch, there's a problem, and the devs fixed it. So, I'm pretty sure, like, the white bushes thing is probably going to get fixed in, like, a week or whatever. I think the devs are probably going to have to fix it. You know, like, this is the broken one. This is the correct one. If you think that's bad, you haven't used an Intel Arc GPU very much, since I have had black screens that last for almost a minute loading into a game. Yeah, I haven't run into any of those issues. I mean, but yeah, I don't use the Intel Arc as my daily driver. Crashing a lot and losing API support. Ooh, that sounds pretty bad. So Pixel has, so AMD has acknowledged it. Have the game developers acknowledged the problem? Because I'm pretty sure it's probably something that the game devs are probably going to be able to resolve much more quickly than AMD. Because Koei Tecmo fixed the Fatal Frame lighting bug pretty fast once they were able to duplicate it. And it's pretty easy to duplicate. So, okay, so I guess the workaround is to run the game with low on that one setting. I want to try something, though. I want to try, like, foliage settings. So, it seems like material quality. Set the quality of all materials in the world. You know what? Before we... Let's do something here. Let's go back to Ultra. I know that's going to break the bushes again, but I want to see foliage quality. Let's do low foliage quality and see what happens. Okay, that doesn't fix it. Yeah, that actually... So see... Oh, you know what you know what this is? The material quality is probably tied to level of detail. Like the LOD. I call it the LOD, L-O-D. Like this is that material quality is probably tied to the distance, how far the object is from the viewport. That's going to affect the material quality. See, because as you get close to it, it corrects itself. See that? See how they just kind of like fix themselves as they get close to them? So that has to do with level of detail. So there's some kind of level of detail filter algorithm that they're running that is probably broken somehow. So foliage quality doesn't do anything, so we're going to change that back. So material quality, that has to do with level of detail. In fact, I'm pretty sure material quality is actually level of detail. Yeah, it's a shader. It's probably a shader. This is the reason why I like standards, because if you have a standard for, say, like a shader, like a shader library for DX12 or whatever, you usually avoid these kind of problems on multiple vendors' hardware. The problem is when, you know, they use some kind of library or whatever, and then NVIDIA has their documentation on how to do it. They import those libraries and they just do all that. And typically that's the case because NVIDIA's libraries, I mean, let's be honest, like NVIDIA is majority market share in the PC like GPU space. So oftentimes, if you're a developer and you're looking up code examples online, you're probably going to find something that was code optimized for a GeForce card, right? So that's typically why these tend to crop up. But if you use standardized stuff, you usually don't run into these sort of problems when you're making your game, because the shaders are basically the same. It's the same library, and it's verified to work on everything. So yeah, so that's a level of detail bug that's going to have to be fixed by probably the developers. Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have a point there. But see, like in the case of that Fatal Frame, going back to that my example with Fatal Frame Maiden of Black Water, like, I remember, so like, that bug affected basically every single Radeon graphics card. Because, like, I remember people were replying to my post saying, like, their RX 480 had the issue. So that made me wonder, like, did the developers even test an AMD card at all before they launched the game? Which, if they didn't, shame on them, because that's pretty bad. That's really bad, actually. Like, if you don't have any Radeon card to test. Yeah. So far, you know, we've seen some minor things, right? I consider that kind of a minor issue that'll be fixed pretty soon. But the, you know, like Forspoken is weird, because that game was so unnecessarily hard to run. While, hold on, I want to see something here. Like how material quality affects, like, things that are close to me. So, like, let me find something that has more. Let's, like, look at these paintings.
Off on another adventure, are we?
But Forspoken seemed like it was so unnecessarily hard to run for the way it looked. And the other thing about it was it. Oh wait, I don't want to see the map. It was mostly stable, I would say. Like, I did have it crash on me like 3 times with the Intel Arc A770 when I was trying to benchmark it. But when I was streaming Forspoken with the Intel Arc, I didn't have any stability issues in terms of the game. Like, I remember I did a pretty long live stream with the Arc A770 running Forspoken, and I didn't get a single crash. It ran horribly, but it was 100% stable. So, yeah, I don't really. It feels like that setting doesn't really affect too much in terms of the level of detail. I mean, like, looking at the wood there. I don't know. This is one of those things where it's like, I really need, like, somebody from Digital Foundry to really, really look at different objects, different, like, material. Like, looks like it's marble or ceramic, and really try to pinpoint, like, what actually changes when you change these settings. Because just looking around at different objects in the game, like, we have material quality at low right now, and I can't really tell. Like, what it's actually doing. So this is low. I'll have to take screenshots to compare it. It's like, going back and forth like this isn't really gonna help. But I'm just trying to see, like, what LOD does on solid objects, not like plants or anything. See, like, I don't really see it doing much. It might be more like shiny surfaces or water or something. And the foil, I don't know how they're, well, I don't know. I don't know enough about how this game was made to be able to make, you know, solid statements on, okay, this is what it's doing and this is why it's broken. Used to hate on developer QA, but it's a hard life. 90% of development, their entire games are, yeah, yep, they're broken. Most of the time is debugging. Most of the time is debugging different levels, different parts, different events, like trigger events. And having to play through the same section over and over again. Can you imagine, like, debugging like Elden Ring? I know, like, the devs enable God mode so the character doesn't take any damage, but it's like, Can you imagine how, like, that world is so big, like, the level design is so... They probably have, like, a enable mini-map or something to show them where they are so they don't get lost in, like, Stormvale Castle or something, trying to figure out, like, where that one NPC was. You have 10 QA staff, and they test every day for 5 years. The total time tested. And the harbor variations. Harbor variations are matched within 5-10 minutes of the game going live. Why is that though? Oh well, yeah. The harbor variations changed, right? Like when this game started development, like the graphics card that I'm playing on didn't even exist. And like maybe even the previous generation probably didn't even exist either. Right? Like the RDNA 2 stuff didn't exist. The NVIDIA 30 series didn't exist when this game was starting to be developed. Like, in fact, probably, like, depending on how long this game was in development, like, there's a good chance that when this game was starting was probably when the RTX 20 series, like, was either just launching or not even out yet. Which means, like, the only graphics cards back then would have been, like, the Vega 64, the 1080, the 1080 Ti, like that kind of stuff. So it's interesting because like when you first start making the game, you kind of know, you know, what's your test hardware that you can use. It's usually like workstation GPUs, and then over the years, you know, like you can work on a game for like 3 years, and after 3 years, typically you swap out to newer hardware. So yeah, there was like 0 ray tracing. And you bring up a really good point, and I wonder now that I think about it, maybe one of the reasons why ray tracing is so basic or non-existent in terms of what it actually does or how it looks in a lot of these games that are coming out is probably because when these games started, ray tracing was really in its infancy or non-existent at the time. So that's probably the reason why. So like, ray tracing was like an afterthought. It got baked into the game after it was probably, you know, like 80% done or more. And then, you know, like, okay, let's just import these libraries and turn on like this sort of special global illumination, and call it a day. The ray tracing reflections look terrible. Are they like overdone? Well, I mean, I saw the screenshot that Joel posted in the Discord. It's... I don't know. In some of those examples, like, the first example that you posted, actually, I like that one. The one where the character's, like, walking on, like, water or something, and the whole thing is reflected in the water. Sometimes I feel like that is not exactly accurate when it comes to water, because like there should be more of like a haze effect on the water, because it shouldn't be, rarely is it ever like crystal clear, like exact reflection, right? That looks kind of weird. That's a little jarring. That's not exactly how a water reflected surface looks. It's more like a mirror, and when it's not supposed to be a mirror, it's supposed to be, you know, water. Not only that, but you can't design around ray tracing, so you're basically using tricks to convert raster to RT. Yeah. Yeah, that's why it's... Yeah. And I think that's why it's going to be a thing for a long time before ray tracing actually becomes like a thing. Like we're not going to see like any games for the next probably until it won't be until 2025 when we actually start seeing games that began their development life cycle with ray tracing in mind. Look at that NPC on the stairs up there. See those stairs? See that dude? He's like moonwalking in place. Look at that. Look at this guy over here. Look at that. Look at that guy just spazzing out by the window. What is he doing? There's another minor, like, weird bug. And that's not even a rendering bug. That's just some broken AI or something. Like, look at that. Oh, man. Okay, so stuff like this. I mean, these are minor things. These are the sort of things that you saw, like, a ton of, like, when Cyberpunk first came out. Like, this type of stuff. Like, what's going on? But, yeah, like, right. 2025, right? At the earliest. So, basically, RTX 50 series and beyond. That's why, honestly, like, 40 series is a big skip for most people. Unless they're on, like, a 10 series GPU. And even then, like, none of the affordable options exist. And it's the same deal with, like, AMD right now, right? Like, AMD hasn't rolled out their affordable RDNA 3 stuff yet either. So they're kind of in the same boat. Path tracing only runs on pure RT cores and ray accelerators and does not even run on the stream. Yeah, but see the problem with that? The big problem with pure path tracing is you gotta remember, like, a GPU, the way a GPU is designed, you have a fixed amount of silicon and a fixed amount of space. So, like, you have to decide how you're going to allocate the silicon. Like, how much of it is going to be RT cores or ray accelerators. And then how much of it is going to be traditional stream processors. Right? Like that's the thing. Like, you can't just do 50% RT and 50% rasterization. Like, what? Like, unless you have massive IPC uplifts on your stream processors, like, if someone were to make a new GPU that was 50% RT and 50% rasterization, it would be worse in games, in pretty much every game, than, like, the previous generation flagship. That's the problem. Like, because you have a fixed amount of silicon, so it's like you can't just, like, take away a lot of space that you would have allocated to stream processors just because you want to put a bunch of ray accelerators on the GPU. Right? Like, did this guy just disappear? I closed my eyes for a second, he, like, literally disappeared. No, there he is. He, like, reset. Okay, so he reset. The issue we have today is back catalog. Nobody is going to accept older games running poorly to make newer games run better. Clock speed is meaningless for path tracing since it only scales with memory bandwidth. Yeah, but see, that's a... What you're saying about, like, the path tracing, the problem with that is it's so... It runs so counterintuitive to the way, like, generational uplifts work. Because think about how many more, like, teraflops the 7900 XTX has versus the previous, like, 6900. Like the numbers don't make sense, right? Chrissy, or I don't know how to say that. Thanks for the sub, though. Clock speed is... Well, see, the problem is, like, memory bandwidth. It's almost like... see, here's the thing I'll bring up about the memory bandwidth part on path tracing. The reason why the Vega 64 was so good at that Frostbite ray tracing demo, the Neon Noir benchmark that I showcased when I did my ray tracing reviews. The reason why the Vega 64 did good at that was because the Vega 64 had so much memory bandwidth. And that was a relatively simple ray tracing demo, but it was pure RT though, on the Frostbite engine. Right, yeah, and it would. It would. I mean, like that. So that, going back to what I was saying about that demo, that synthetic path tracing demo on Frostbite, like Vega 64 and Radeon 7 do a lot better than like a 5700, right? And that's because of the memory bandwidth. Because the 5700 doesn't have that. It's not using HBM. It doesn't have a wide memory bus. The memory clock's really high, but it's a traditional, you know, traditional rasterization-based GPU. Oh, CryEngine. Yes, thank you. CryEngine, not Frostbite. Yes, it's the CryEngine. The Neon Noir benchmark that I'm talking about is on the CryEngine, for those wondering. Radeon 7 had 1024 gigabytes of memory bandwidth. Yeah. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, you throw a lot of memory bandwidth, you throw a really, really wide memory bus with a lot of memory bandwidth at the problem, and that can solve some of it, but you still need the ray accelerators piece of it. And that's why with like real path tracing, that it's still not good, right? Because it lacks the hardware. It lacks the acceleration. It lacks the ASICs in the silicon to actually accelerate the path tracing. Like, it's got the bandwidth, but it doesn't have the actual horsepower to do the work. So that was the problem with the HBM GPUs. So it's like, if you're going to put RT cores or whatever on an HBM GPU, that's going to be incredibly expensive. And then the whole thing is like, you have to balance, like, what about the stream processors? Right? Like, how are you going to make it actually be competitive in pure FPS? Because pure FPS is still king, and it's still going to be like that for a very long time. I mean, that goes back to the other point that was mentioned earlier, that no one's going to accept older games running poorly to make newer games run better. Well, I mean, I think Intel needs to hear that because well, I think they have heard that. So because they are their driver is implementing like DX VK and that sort of thing. So yeah, but going back to the whole like ray tracing, path tracing, like pure path tracing, that's always going to be a problem for the next couple of GPU generations, because that, like, you're gonna see performance uplifts in ray tracing across the board, with both, you know, all vendors, you know, like, it's not just both, but all of it. So the three GPU manufacturers. But the thing is, like, they're all gonna be very, very dependent on whatever TSMC does for the node shrink, because you cannot just surrender like rasterization performance, right? Like digital foundries considered the rasterization problem solved with the 4090. But, you know, as we have seen with some newer games, like Forspoken, for instance, even something with that many teraflops, still, when you throw an unoptimized game at it, well, I mean, I don't want to say it's unoptimized, but like a game that's unnecessarily hard, like a New Crisis type game, because I think we can all agree Forspoken is basically the New Crisis. Like, you throw a game like that at the so-called rasterization king that solves the problem of rasterization, so now we need to focus strictly on ray tracing. I don't agree, because you throw a game like Forspoken at the 4090 and it's dipping below 60. You know, like with DLSS turned off or with FSR turned off. So at 4K, ultra settings. So it's like, okay, I don't think the problem's solved, guys. We have a new level. Forspoken set the bar so high now with its direct storage causing FPS to drop. Yeah, but you gotta understand why they do that. Like, I'll tell you why Intel does what they do. And what Intel's doing is the correct thing to do. Intel's not doing the wrong thing. I know they need to fix, like, support for their older games. But that's always gonna be secondary to focusing on what's coming, like, what's new. Because it's easier to do that. It's easier to optimize your product for something that's current, for something that's new. Why? Because you can do developer relations. You can actually work with game developers that are making a new, unreleased, unannounced game on the back end and make sure your GPU actually performs properly with that game, because there's incentive for the developer to work with you because they're actually working on this new game. That is the reason why it's way easier to do that. Because think about it like this, if I have a GPU, like if I have ARC, and I have to decide between calling up, you know, Portkey Games working on Hogwarts Legacy, or Square Enix working on Forspoken because I want to throw XESS in there, you know, or whatever the reason is. Like the fact that they're like those games are actively in development. You know, I'm saying, like, let's imagine this was a year ago when ARC wasn't released yet. It is easier to work with developers working on an upcoming game and just, you know, work alongside them in parallel versus trying to go back and test a whole bunch of old games and divvy that up with your QA team or whoever is going to do that, the driver team and their QA guys who are going to actually have to play test some of this stuff and figure out why it's not rendering correctly. You know, like, that is going to take so long, and you have absolutely zero buy-in on the developer's side, on the game developer's side, because they've moved past those old games. They are not going to waste their time going back and like, yeah, I used this set of shaders for this game that I made a decade ago, right? Like, who's gonna do that? Like, the fact that Intel has made so much progress in a short time is actually pretty amazing, though. Considering the magnitude of, like, what they have to actually do. We won't talk about RT because RT effects will just be built. Yeah, that's what I've been saying. That's what I've thought, like, from the start with RT. Like, there's no point in buying a GPU today strictly because of RT performance, because RT performance is only going to be baked into games that are going to come out like 2 years from now at the earliest. And by that time, RDNA 4 and RTX 50 will already be a thing. So buying a choosing between a 40 series or like an RDNA 3 on the basis of ray tracing alone over like other things is not really a smart move. Like, in my opinion. I value VRAM and rasterization way more than like RT performance if I'm buying a GPU today in 2023. The reason path tracing is interesting, you don't need shader. Yeah. XCSS does do a good job on Hogwarts Legacy for machine learning based substitute. It's practically, wait, what's practically impossible? The reality is a few years you won't talk, oh, practically impossible. The biggest issue with RT is that the arguments just don't make sense. For example, Well, okay, well, I'll let you do that. I'm gonna run back to the dorm room. I'm going back to the dorm. Oh man, I went like way over. Every time I start talking tech, like the stream, it'll, like talking technology like this always adds like at least another hour, if not like another 90 minutes to the stream, which is fine. But hold on, am I going the right way? I feel like I'm going the wrong way. No.
I've always said
Wait,
that
hold up.
travel
No.
broadens-
I think this goes to the room with the ladder. Yeah. Okay, no. That's not definitely not the right way. Where's my dorm? No. This way? No. Oh, you know what? It's probably outside. Wait, hold on. Oh wait, no, this goes to Slytherin. Whoops, I'm running to the wrong house. That's Slytherin, that's not where I need to go. Man, I thought I figured this out. Why are we having trouble with this? Hold on a second. Am I going to the right building? Let me make sure I'm going to the right building. Okay, so hold on. I was in the right building. Okay, so this is the right building. I just need to figure out how to not go down the stairs or go up the stairs instead. Yeah, this way. Yeah, okay, here we go. Now we're getting somewhere. If you say 4080 is 30% faster in Cyberpunk, that's fine, but 30% faster than 30 FPS is 40 FPS. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I would agree there. That's right. I mean, that's accurate. In my mind, it is. When you do the A770 with XESS or whatever it's called, we will see, right? His next stream will be using. Yeah, I'll be doing the A770, the Intel reference card on the next live stream. But yeah, this game, like, this is a good game, like, in the sense that it's relatively well optimized. Yeah, there are some day one bugs. Keep in mind, too, like, this game, like, technically, I'm playing the game before the official release date. So these weird issues with, like, the AI tripping out on the stairs, or, you know, like the white bushes due to the material detail shader being broken. Like, these are things that might get fixed on launch day or, like, very shortly after launch day, which is Friday. So technically, I am playing in early access because I did pre-order the game. So, that's the reason why I'm able to actually play it right now, because technically it is prior to launch day. So, just wanted to throw that out there. Hold on, I think, hold up. Is this Ravenclaw? No, that goes to Gryffindor. So Ravenclaw has got to be over here. No, not this way. Wrong way again. For this game? Okay, another one? Another one? I think I just updated it, like, yesterday. Or not yesterday, like last weekend. Listen to the voice quality and tell me they're not in a concrete box. Oh, I mean, to me they seem like they're okay. Like, what I know is if you mess with the... I don't know if you can do it in this menu. So I know, like, if you start messing with the pitch of the character's voice, it doesn't work. Like, I mean, it then sounds like you're in some kind of weird like robot auto-tune thing. It doesn't sound good at all. So it's unfortunate because there's literally only one voice and you can only adjust the pitch up or down, but anything from the default middle sounds bad. So I just left it on default. Yeah, that's the problem. So I just leave it on the default. Oh wait, hold on. Isn't Cyberpunk technically like? Wait, that's Crytek. Wait a minute. Cyberpunk is Crytek, right? That means that they're gonna be like the same as the Neon Noir benchmark. Yeah, but see the problem, like the only thing with Quake 2 is literally just ray tracing. Quake 2 has like no rasterization. like the rasterization in Quake 2 is so basic that you're basically like it's basically non-existent. So it's not that it's non-existent, but it's just so elementary by today's standards that it's like if you want to not see how your GPU performs in rasterization, then yeah, Quake 2 RTX is good, I guess. Like it's a good test, but it doesn't paint the whole picture is what I'm trying to say. Like Cyberpunk stresses two aspects of the GPU, like rasterization and RT. Quake 2 is literally only RT. So you do have a point, like Quake 2 RTX is a much better test of ray tracing. Fundamentally, I would agree there because you're eliminating rasterization as much as possible. So at that point, it's literally just basic like polygon shapes, like low pixel count sort of, you know, surfaces and stuff, and then you're just putting like global illumination and just pure RT on it. So yeah, that makes sense. But you know, like I don't know, you gotta also keep in mind, like when a new game is being developed, obviously they're gonna have high polygon density. Like this game, for instance, like the polygon count is much more complex than like what you see in Quake 2 RTX. It's because the game is so much newer, right? Like Quake 2 is such an old game from the 90s that it's like, you know, the objects and stuff are so basic. Yeah, but remember what I was saying earlier, like when I actually did those comparisons myself, like Arc falls somewhere between 20 series and 30 series. And the way I see the 6700, like RDNA 2's RT is like 20 series RT. And RDNA 3 is like 30 series RT. So Arc's somewhere in the middle. Like it's somewhere between RDNA 2's RT and RDNA 3's RT. So it'll be interesting with Arc, because the reason why I'm saying that is because I expect when AMD's lower, like the mid-range, lower end RDNA 3 GPUs come out. So think like RX 60 or RX 7600 XT, for instance, or the RX 7500 XT, if that's going to be a thing, or the 7600. Like, I expect those GPUs from AMD to outperform Intel's Arc A770 in RT. Because in my mind, Arc is somewhere between RDNA 2 and RDNA 3. Just like it is somewhere between RTX 20 series and RTX 30 series RT. So I always assumed that Arc would be better than RDNA 2 in RT, because RDNA 2 RT is basically RTX 20 series RT. It's not even about games or engines. For a true test, RT must be reliant on what's already available in used API. Once you start directly using hardware, it's a specific test of a specific set of hardware, not a real representation. Yeah. And that goes back to what I was saying earlier about why I am very in favor of standards. Like, regardless of whether we're talking about open standards or just standards-based implementations for something, like a standard framework for RT, for instance, or a standard library set for RT that doesn't necessarily favor any specific hardware. Because, yeah, you're right. Like, that's the thing about it. Like, if you make a game or a program and you design that program specifically to utilize certain hardware like functionality, and you design your software application such that it specifically needs like certain hardware ASICs, for instance, or whatever. Like think about it like this. Like, for example, like Ethereum ASIC miners. Ethereum mining ASICs. Like, the ASICs are specifically, it's specific hardware that is designed to mine Ethereum, right? Like, that's all it's good at. That's all it does. And a lot of the like the different mining, what do they call those things? Not the node, but it was like the hash algorithm, or not? No, what am I trying to say? Like the different like mining nodes that you can connect to. Like, the developers for some of the front end for accessing the node would favor certain hardware, like for instance the ASICs, over like traditional GPUs, right? Quake 2 RTX was designed for NVIDIA's GPUs. Yeah, no, Pixel's right there. I always knew that. But you can run it on non-NVIDIA hardware. It was designed for... Yes, it was designed for NVIDIA's RTX 20 series, I believe, actually. Was it 20 series? I think it was 20 series. Yeah, just because a game is like, just because a game can run on other hardware doesn't mean that it wasn't originally designed around a specific set of hardware. And Quake 2, in that case, Quake 2 RTX is definitely designed for NVIDIA's specific hardware implementation of RT. Yeah, no, it was designed specifically for NVIDIA. Why do you think it has an RTX logo? It has an NVIDIA RTX logo on it. RTX does not mean ray tracing. RTX is a NVIDIA trademarked logo for their ray tracing implementation. It does, and I actually like the term GTX more than RTX. I never liked the RTX. I think RTX is kind of dumb in the sense that it, if anything, it's going to confuse consumers when they're making purchasing decisions, especially consumers that don't really care about RT and are literally just trying to buy a GPU. And when they see one brand says RX another brand says RTX, they might have a hard time telling the difference between those two. I feel like Nvidia should have stuck with GTX, to be honest. It definitely makes things a lot more cut and dry, like looking at both GPUs, like in Micro Center, for instance, side by side. It doesn't mean it doesn't lean into a specific hardware it was designed for. Portal RTX is the only game that I have seen that is like that. Yeah. Yeah, Modern Warfare 2 does always run better on AMD. Yeah. Right, yeah, like it's the same thing, right? Like Joel, you gotta remember, like when you were saying that RT on Forspoken is bad because AMD worked with the developers. No, all that means is that like Forspoken's RT was not made to work specifically with Nvidia's RTX. So that doesn't mean that the RT's bad. That just means that it wasn't made, like, they didn't work directly with Nvidia to, you know, make something like path tracing in Quake 2 RTX. They focused more on things like direct storage and some of that stuff. That's kind of why I showed that video in that live stream, because a lot of what they presented in that video was sort of like, to me, it was like, okay, the design goals for Square Enix when they made Forspoken was more of like, you know, there's a lot of technology that is new, and they're trying to learn their way with that. So I feel like, in my opinion, of Square Enix, you guys have to remember, like, if we think about Forspoken, because that's a very interesting game from a development standpoint. The thing about Forspoken is it's made by a Japanese developer, and you guys have to remember, like, Japanese developers typically are always a little bit slower to adopt newer technologies. So things like ray tracing, just newer APIs like DirectX 12, for example. You know, most games that come out of Japan are all DX11. Like, I mean, Final Fantasy 14, probably the most popular MMO, still is only DX11 based. Where WoW has been on DX12 since, like, WoW Classic back in 2019. So, I mean, talk about, like, slow to update your engines. And then, like, so the way I see it is, like, with going back to Forspoken, just to kind of touch on this point, because this goes on to what Pixel was talking about with, like, developers themselves and how they have to divvy up their time and resources. So, like, you have to remember, so if you're Square Enix, and they're a pretty big company, but they take a more slower, conservative approach to roll out newer technologies in their games. I think, in their minds, they kind of made Forspoken as kind of like this experimental game where it's like, we don't need to focus too much on the story or the narrative or even the game world. What we want to do, what they set out to do, was make a pretty good action game, and they did succeed there, but also kind of throw in all these newer technologies that they are behind the curve on in terms of playing around with. So, like RT, you know, the direct storage piece, because they're trying to figure out, like, well, how do we improve, like, streaming textures in a newer way of doing it? Like, what's another more modern way to do this, right? So it's like, I think they succeeded in a lot of their goals with that game. Now, does the game need optimization? Yes. And they've come out and said publicly on Twitter that they're going to actually optimize the game. So that's really good to hear, because I feel like Square Enix, they care about the quality and the user experience. They don't want to be labeled as, oh, they put out a garbage game, it's unoptimized, it runs terrible, right? Like I said this when I was streaming Forspoken, like, the game is pretty solid, like, the combat system's fun, the gameplay loop, the exploration is relatively fun and enjoyable. I don't really care too much for like the dialogue and the story itself. It's kind of generic and bland. But I feel like that's not where they put a lot of their effort from a development standpoint. And you see that in the game. You see that in the product itself. They focused more on technology. And usually, like, big, successful games from a Japanese development studio, they don't really focus too much on, like, graphical quality. It just has to be, you know, above average, and it's good enough. They focus more on, like, the actual gameplay, the actual goals that they set out to achieve when they make their game. And that doesn't necessarily always mean, like, having the best graphics or having the most advanced graphics technology, like RT or something. Halo Infinite, it was designed to run on the Series X, but it seems to run about 10 to 15 higher on 4080. It's the same with Modern Warfare 2. It's not always that it was designed around. See, okay, so the difference there, so the thing about that is, so the thing about Modern Warfare 2, AMD never goes around like saying that they're the premier brand, like Radeon is the premier brand for Modern Warfare 2. Have you ever seen AMD advertise for Modern Warfare 2? They never have. They never have. And that's because they never actually did anything. So what Pixel is saying is that the way a game can be constructed is such that it just so happens that the way it was designed just capitalizes on hardware. Regardless of whether it was intended or not. In the case of Modern Warfare 2, I don't think it was intended. So when you're saying it just leans on AMD in the end, that's just because the way that game's engine works is it just so happens to leverage, you know, big memory width, you know, like the way the memory controller, the way the VRAM talks to the shaders, like that, the way that's set up on Radeon, it just so happens that Modern Warfare 2 just handles it better that way. It just runs better with that front end, that hardware scheduler, you know, that kind of stuff, as opposed to having to go through the old GigaThread engine on the NVIDIA. So it just kind of depends. Like, there's a lot of things, like the shader backend, the memory subsystem. They're very different. Sort of mistake that a lot of people make when talking about the consoles. Lots of people talk about the consoles on AMD. Yeah. I hear that so much, and that's like the wrong way to think about it. Like, okay, going back to the example that I gave you guys with you know, where is it? Is it still up, or did I close it? Like with the Fatal Frame bug, like this, like okay, you know, it's supposed to run so good on AMD, right? Because it was made with the console. It's a console port. Well, okay, the PlayStation 5 RNA 2 doesn't have any problems day one. The Radeon card, you got a rendering bug, you got a lighting bug, right? So just because it's made, just because like it's optimized for console and it looks perfectly, it runs perfectly on console and it doesn't on the Radeon, doesn't mean like it's supposed to run better on Radeon. Like that's what I'm getting at. So I think that's what Pixel was saying too. Best example of what you're saying is the, wait, what? Why are we talking about CPUs? Oh yeah. That's exactly that's what I was talking about with the Modern Warfare 2 thing. And so the thing with, like, the same thing with Halo Infinite. Halo Infinite's probably just set up in a way that it just capitalizes on how the GigaThread engine interfaces to the game, as opposed to, I mean, I'm just using the GigaThread engine on the NVIDIA as an example, but, you know, like the hardware scheduler on the AMD card, you know, like there's some differences there. like how those ACEs, the asynchronous compute engines on the AMD, like how well does it leverage those, or how not well does it leverage those? There's too many different things. There was just way too many things here. Like, Spider-Man was NVIDIA sponsored and runs better on AMD. Wait, what? Oh yeah. Well, what? I didn't even know that. Honestly, I did not know that. 3070 Ti was beating 6800 on Spider-Man remastered without RT yet. Well, whatever. Like, you know, honestly, it's kind of pointless because at the end of the day, like, if we're talking like 6800 and 3070 Ti, like, I don't care which one wins in an arbitrary game because in my mind, they both fall into the same ballpark in terms of performance. Doesn't matter which one wins in one arbitrary game. They're the same. They're the same. What meaning a 3070 Ti and a 6800 will always be much, much closer together than either of them will ever be able to be compared to like a 7900 XTX, for example. So in my mind, they're the same category, they're the same class. I don't care which one of them is better in Spider-Man or Modern Warfare or Forspoken or whatever. They're relatively similar enough that it doesn't really matter. And then like 3080 and 6800 XT, you just go up the stack, same deal. They're both gonna be in the same ballpark. So it depends. So like people are saying, okay, well if that's the case, why shouldn't they be priced the same? Well, price is gonna depend on demand, supply and demand. But it depends on what you actually look for when you're buying a GPU. Like in my case, I'm always gonna favor higher VRAM over stuff like RT performance, for example. Right? Like, why do I have the XTX instead of a 4080? Well, because it has 24 gigabytes of memory. And it's a little bit faster in RT performance. And that's going to continue to be a thing, and you'll see like 2 years from now that narrative's not going to change. Yes, NVIDIA, and that's the reason why NVIDIA is able to state that they do not compete on price, they compete on features. Yeah, the features? Yeah, well, I mean, yes and no. Yes and no. Because, you know, again, like I just said, it depends on what somebody values when they're looking at buying or upgrading to a GPU. Right? Like I might value VRAM more than ray tracing, but someone like Joel might value ray tracing performance over VRAM. Right? So it depends on what you're actually looking for in the product. You know, that's ultimately what it is. Like I always favor like hardware specs, just base hardware specs over anything else. So like, you know, VRAM, what's the bus width, you know, shader count matters too, but you know, you can't really directly compare shader count or stream processors across multiple vendors because, you know, there's architectural differences, so that doesn't exactly map properly, but yeah. I value native res over upscaling too. Like, yes, I too also, that's why I don't care too much about DLSS or FSR. I'm not saying that they're useless technologies. They definitely have their uses. I personally feel that where DLSS really, really shines would be in mobile, so like laptop GPUs, and stuff like handheld portable consoles, like aka the Switch. Can you imagine if the Switch could actually leverage DLSS 2? Like how much better the experience on the Nintendo Switch would be than it currently is? That is where things like DLSS actually matter, and where they actually make a massive contribute. It contributes massively to like a demographic, like someone who can't really afford, you know, like a PS5, but they can afford like a Switch. You know, if the Switch has DLSS, you know, you dock it and you get like 720p, and you can get like potentially, you know, much better image quality. So yeah, like that's a no-brainer. But like ultra high end, you know, like when I was doing the Forspoken benchmarks, right? Like the preset for ultra always turns FSR2 on, right? It's baked in to their preset, like the ultra preset. There's no way to turn it off unless you go custom. Well, here's the thing, like if somebody values DLSS or FSR2, like why would they care if, or why would it matter is what I'm saying. Like if ultra preset turns on FSR2, why does that actually matter if upscaling technology is supposed to be a good thing, right? For purists, no, it does matter. You want native res. And native res is kind of like the thing, because, I mean, my opinion, you know, native res is what the game artist actually intended the game to look like. Not what some AI... Whoa, what the heck is she doing? She just, like, slid all the way across the room and then just, like, turned around and walked properly. So there are some interesting bugs I've seen in the game, actually, today. The playtime on this game is gonna look so bad. It's gonna look like I've been playing for like 7 hours or something. Total playtime, and I haven't actually gone to class yet. That's hilarious. Most of this is gonna be AFK. If it ends up taking me like 100 hours to finish the game, and most of it's just me sitting here talking about like GPUs and stuff. Oh man. Why did my camera... Oh, the field of view, like, crept up on me because somebody, like, walked up behind me.
What are you up to now?
One thing, though, that I'm a little disappointed in this game is why can't I sit down? Like, why can't my character actually sit in the chairs? Like, hey, what? He just, like, took my seat, but I can't even sit down, so it doesn't really matter. Native resolutions days are numbered, though. Bet within 3 to 4 years, native res is going to be an ultra high quality tick box setting. Are you sure? I don't know about that. Because the thing with resolution is, you know what I can see them doing? Like, I can see 4K eventually becoming the standard, the way 1080p currently still is today. But I can see super scaling. So super scaling could become a thing. You know, like for instance, instead of using DLSS to basically take a 4K resolution and render that at like 1440p, like what about, you know, super sampling that, like going above the native resolution. So if for instance, if I'm playing on a 4K display like I am right now, what about if I have like FSR you know, super sample it up to 8K, for instance, and use frame generation techniques. I have a feeling that is probably more likely going to happen. That's like the next stage, as opposed to trying to use temporal upscaling or AI-based upscaling to render at a lower res. Never say never. See, the reason why it's not a thing today, or the reason why it doesn't seem feasible today, is because it's because the way operating systems work, the DPI scaling right now doesn't really scale properly above 1440p, to be honest. Like unless you have super good vision and you can run your 4K monitor at like native 100% DPI scaling. Like, I personally actually run my monitor at 100% DPI scaling, but now it's a 27-inch monitor, so it's a relatively small 4K monitor, so it's, you know, everything looks really crisp and sharp at 100% scaling. But the thing is, they're going to have to change, like Windows and Mac and, you know, Linux, they're going to have to change the way text is displayed on a high-resolution display, like in terms of the DPI scaling. They're going to have to change what they're doing, because if they want 8K to become a reality, or if they want to actually go beyond 4K, they are going to have to do that. Because, you know, using like 150% zoom is not the answer. That's totally not the answer. That defeats the whole advantage of having a higher resolution display when using it as just a regular computer monitor for, like, you know, actual work. "4K FSR performance mode or 1080p native? Now ask what looks better, 4K native or 8K FSR performance." Well, see, like for me, I've never actually looked at like 8K FSR, so I'd have to actually look at some of those examples. So I don't really know. So, like, which one I like more, 4K FSR, performance mode, or 1080p native? I don't know, because, you know, that kind of depends on the game, right? Like, some games could have good FSR scaling even at performance mode, and others not so much. So in that case, like, so like, you know, I'll answer partially on that statement. So I would say for Forspoken, because I have done a lot of testing with Forspoken, 4K FSR performance mode. Well, you know, I gotta think about that now, because 1080p, that game is just so weird, because you can actually change it to 1080p, but because 1080p is not the native resolution of the monitor, it still looks blurry, because the 4K monitor is now just showing it at 1080p, so it doesn't look good on the 4K monitor. But so I guess the correct answer would be, if I was looking at a 1080p monitor and playing Forspoken at 1080p native res, that would look better than, you know, like turning the game to 1080p on my 4K monitor. So if it was the latter, if it was like my 4K monitor, FSR 4K on my 4K monitor performance mode versus turning down the resolution to 1080p on my 4K monitor, then yeah, 4K FSR definitely will look better, even in performance mode, than 1080p native. But like a 1080p monitor at 1080p native will probably look better slightly than a 4K FSR performance mode. Especially like in high-speed action scenes and stuff like that. So what looks better, 4K native or 8K FSR performance mode? So now things start looking interesting because now, see, this is what I'm saying. Like this is why super sampling can actually benefit more. So yeah, I think 8K FSR performance mode might actually. Well, I don't know, because I don't know. It might just be like dependent on how well the game implements the temporal upscaler. You need to be within 6 inches of a screen that is 4320p to notice the difference between a 4K monitor on a 27-inch screen. I'm sitting 6 inches away from my 27-inch monitor. Right here. My hand. Well, no, hold on. Oh, did you say 6 inches? Oh, never mind. No. I'm not sitting 6 inches from my monitor. Yeah, no. Did I read that right? Hold up. Yeah, no. I'm more than 6 inches. I'm probably like 2 feet. Maybe almost. Like a foot and a half, probably. Or 2 feet, something like that. Depends on the game. Hold up. On an 8K monitor, there's so much pixel density that it's hard to see the difference between native 4K and 8K FSR performance. Yeah. It totally depends on the game. Yeah. Yeah, and the thing is, I've always thought the consoles have to do that. Because in my mind, so in all honesty, in my mind, I consider the PlayStation 5 a 1080p 60 console. Maybe 1440p 60. But I don't consider it 4K. Like, I don't consider the PlayStation 5 a good 4K 60 performance if you really care about visual quality. So the way I've always thought about it is the PlayStation 3 was a 720p console. The PlayStation 4 was either like a 720p 60 or a 1080p 30 console. Now, so what that means is that the PlayStation 5 is a 1080p 60 or 4K 30 experience. That's the way I see it. And 1440p 60 kind of falls somewhere in the middle. And the reason why I never really considered 1440p when I thought about PS5 is because the PS5 never actually supported 1440p until recently. So that's why. Native 4K would look better than 8K FSR performance. Oh, well, yeah. An engineer explained the resolution stuff to me better than anyone else. Modern gaming. There's no such thing as native resolution because you never see a raw pixel. I don't understand that. I don't understand what they're trying to say. Like, you never see a raw pixel? What? Native resolution literally just means like you're rendering a frame at a given, you know, number of pixels on your horizontal and vertical. That's all that is. Well, the thing is, I think the way I classify native resolution is like the monitor has a native resolution. Typically, it's the maximum resolution supported by the monitor. You know, not counting like virtual super resolution or whatever the NVIDIA one's called, DSR, dynamic super resolution. So Intel doesn't even have one of these things yet, and they really need one of those things. But anyway, like not counting virtual super resolution, native resolution is typically the maximum resolution that a monitor supports. So in my mind, native res is the resolution that the monitor is supposed to output the game at. That is the reason why I never, like, ever since I started using LCD flat screen monitors, like way back when I, you know, got my first LCD monitor like years ago to play like WoW and Guild Wars 1 and maybe Half-Life 2. Like I never use I never drop the resolution down from the native resolution because it never looks good on an LCD monitor. That's why. Like when I used to have an old CRT monitor, like with my very, very first PC, I had a CRT monitor, and that was like a 1024 by 768 display, so like a 4:3 aspect ratio. Like I was okay like dropping the resolution down in some games because CRTs just scaled the pixel display better than LCDs. But ever since I got my first LCD monitor, I never would like drop the native res down to a lower res just so I could play a game at a better frame rate. At that point, I'll be like, I'm either not going to play the game or I have to upgrade my graphics card. It can look good, just use integer scaling. Isn't integer scaling the thing that like letterboxes it so you have like the black? So like for instance, if you have a 4K monitor and you do integer scaling for the like 1080p for example, well, won't that mean that it'll just be like a small little 1080p cutout in the middle of your monitor and like the rest of the monitor will be all black? I haven't really used integer scaling in a really, really long time, so I don't really remember what it does. What do you mean about raw pixels is that right now in Hogwarts, the TAA is jittering the frame and likely stacking 8 to 16 frames of data on top of each other and applying post-processing. No, it will do 2x2 pixels for a single 4K pixel. Wait, what? Are you talking about integer scaling? I'm not sure. What's 2x2 pixels for a single 4K pixel? 1080p to 4K works well. 2x2. I need to read up on that because I really have not messed with integer scaling. So is integer scaling essentially like a static upscaling then? Or downscaling? Wouldn't that mean that like these temporal based upscaling like FSR is similar? It's just done dynamically? Or not necessarily dynamically, but well, there's probably something different about it. I need to really look into that integer scaling stuff because it'll turn each single 1080p pixel into 4 pixels of 4K and be full screen. Isn't that like what VSR does? Virtual Super Resolution on Radeon? It's effectively looking at a native. Oh, interesting. Okay, I think I'm starting to understand what you're saying. I'm just trying to picture it in my mind, like what it's actually doing on the screen. Okay, so that, interesting. Because I remember I've seen that like in the Radeon settings, I see like integer scaling, and then there's like a slider, but I'm like, does that only work with HDMI? Or maybe I'm thinking of something different. Because all my monitors are all DisplayPort based. TAA and DLSS and FSR are practically the exact same thing. So wait, they're basically integer scaling? They just choose an inner resolution or like a render resolution and they do scaling between the rendered resolution and the native resolution. That's very interesting. So it all started with integer scaling. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I understand FSR and DLSS and TAA. Integer scaling is the one that I never really did anything with, or never really looked at. That's interesting. So, that might that kind of intrigues me to do further investigation with like a lower end GPU. Number one use case for integer scaling is older games where the UI does not scale. Oh, yeah. Oh, you know what? I think I might have seen or heard about that in like in a Digital Foundry video or something somewhere where they were talking about that for like old retro games. So a game like StarCraft Brood War could benefit from that. That's interesting. You know, it's funny. I look at the like the concurrent viewers watching the YouTube stream, and I remember like at one point there was like 12 people in here, but because I'm just sitting here not actually playing the game, it's like this is like a scam stream. It's supposed to be streaming Hogwarts Legacy, and we're just like talking about like something completely different, completely off topic. Although, you know, Radeon RX 7900 XTX, you know, however that much is related to this. Yeah, I like how these students are literally okay just like sitting here. It's almost like they're just kind of like listening to this whole thing. Like, can I actually use this telescope? No.
I'd like to retire from this speed one day.
It's kind of a missed opportunity. They didn't... Like, I'm okay with like not being able to use a telescope, but man, like there should have been a option to sit in the chair and stuff. That's just kind of weird. Like that's omitted from the game. Like you can't actually interact with the seat and sit down. That is interesting. It's been a long time since I've played like old retro games. Like, probably the most recent one is literally Quake 2, and that's only because of RT. Like, I wanted to test RT on the new 7000 series and, like, Intel's GPU and stuff. So, wow. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah, like, this is all interesting stuff, and it almost makes you want to go back and, like, play around with integer scaling on, like, StarCraft 1. And maybe some other games that I haven't touched in like more than 10 years. Cause I really don't play a lot of older games, to be honest. Like, the only thing really is like, what do I play that's an older game? Like the most recent one that I can think of that I did a live stream of with Intel Arc and also with the AMD card was Lightning Returns, which was from 2014, so that's like 9 years old at this point. What monitor am I using? So I am using a Sony InZone M9. So it's that new Sony 4K 144 HDR monitor that came out last year. Like it was like I think it's like I've had it since August, I think, or maybe September. So yeah, so that's what I'm gaming on. So it works well because it integrates with the PS5, which I do have the PS5 here as well, just kind of like sitting off to the side. And I do have Hogwarts Legacy on the PlayStation 5 as well, so I can do some image comparisons between the two of them. The only problem is I think, so actually, I don't know. Yeah, you know what? I might actually do that. I might do like a PS5 versus Radeon 7900 XTX or something. Side-by-side comparison. You're using the Samsung Neo G8 240. Wow. Oh, Joel, the only console you have is a Series X. I wanted a Series X, but I couldn't justify getting it because, like, honestly, like, I still want the Series X, and you know the reason why I want it is because I want to like play a lot of my older Xbox original games upscaled, like through backwards compatibility. That's the reason why I actually want a Series X. So it's funny because, you know, I was just talking about how I haven't played any like retro games in a long time. Well, I guess first gen Xbox, like OG Xbox original, counts as retro at this point. Almost, maybe. I mean, early 2000s. Early 2000s. You know, like I want to play some Gun Valkyrie and like Ninja Gaiden Black. Oh, it's telling me my gear slots are full? How? Well, anyway, I'll figure that out later. Yeah, this game's good. This game's definitely not retro. This is the only, like, Hogwarts Wizarding World game that I've ever actually played. I've never played any of the other old Harry Potter games or anything. You have the 1440p 165 for the 4080 and the Intel Arc. You literally just completed Detroit Become Human at 4K on the XTX. Yeah, you know, I've wanted to get that game. I never got it. Like, I've seen it on Steam sale like so many times and I never gotten it. Master FPS 120 FPS. Like, that's the cap that I set so that it doesn't like screen tear or anything. I mean, technically it could go higher, yeah, it's like it's been a solid like 120 the whole time I've been playing it. Like, I haven't noticed any stuttering or any weird issues, and we're running it at like the full 4K Ultra. Although we did find like a graphical bug earlier, so I had to turn like the model quality, material quality down to low because there's like a rendering bug when you go outside. But that'll probably get patched at a certain point. I mean, I wish that I had more influence on, like, discovering and reporting rendering-based bugs. Like, the AI bugs, like, the characters getting, like, NPCs getting stuck on the stairs and stuff. I don't really care to, I mean, obviously, those are the ones that are gonna end up, like, on YouTube. You know, like, some montage footage of all the broken AI issues in the game. Those I don't care to report, but like the stuff that we saw with the white trees, like that, definitely I would report those type of rendering bugs to the developers. Yeah, like I remember the Cyberpunk 2077 ones. Those were like the most hilarious ones that I've seen. The GTA 5 ones when that game first came out like years ago. How are minimums? Oh, in Detroit. So... yeah. And those are such minor things too, like the AI bugs.
How nice to see you, my young friend.
See, this looks nice. I like how they did a lot of like the I guess the artists that thought of like how to actually create these rooms, because I'm sure like in the books they're talked about like the materials. See, like here's a ghost. What's the video? But yeah, like I'm inside and there's not a whole lot going on. That's why I'm saying, like, I won't be able to make, like, a comparison video until I'm further in the game where I can actually go outside into the world. The indoor never is as demanding as outside. Remember Forspoken? Forspoken was above 60 all the time inside. But as soon as you go outside and start running around, that's where you start seeing all the issues cropping up.
You can't imagine how inconvenient travel was before I invented flu powder.
But you'll see, like, I will be making similar videos, just like with the Forspoken ones for this game. I just have to find a good area to repeat the test, because this game doesn't have a built-in benchmark. So it's gonna take a while to figure out a good mix of, like, because the way I'll do it, if I want to be really, really lazy, I'll just pick some place like outside, like in the forest, and just run in a straight line, turn around and run back. And call it a day, and do that for like 4 GPUs, and then upload that to YouTube. But what I'll probably try to do, I want to do like an indoor scene. So like, for example, I might like take this footage of me running like through Ravenclaw's house or whatever. That's like scene 1, and then I'll do like one outside, and that's scene 2, and then I'll probably do like another one and call it scene 3, and that'll be it. And I'll repeat all 3 of those for like 3 other GPUs. You know, we're probably gonna do this, obviously this GPU, and then we're gonna do like maybe 6900 XT, probably the same ones that I did in the Forspoken video. So like for 4K, I'll do this GPU, 3090 Ti, 6900 XT, and whatever the other one was. Actually, no. Yeah, 3090 Ti, 3080 Ti, and 6900 XT. So I'll do those 3 plus this one, so that's gonna be 4K. And then when I test 1440p, it will be Arc A770, 6700 XT, and then what were the other 2 that I chose? Not Vega, that was like 1080p. But like whatever I use, I'm just gonna repeat that for like the other 2 like resolutions. 1440p will be different GPUs. And the reason why I do that, because people are probably like, well, why don't you just do like these GPUs for all 3 resolutions? Well, because I don't agree that someone should be buying an XTX and pairing that up with a 1080p monitor. I don't care if the dumb argument for like CS:GO or whatever. Like, oh wow, she's just like, wow, that, see, okay, that's interesting. I was in the path of that NPC's like pathing, and like they're like, nope, that's not gonna work. Yeah, but when people, you know, when people are pairing up, you know, $1,000 GPUs with a 1080p monitor, like a, you know, like a, even if it's a high refresh rate monitor, assuming it is, you know, like whatever a 240 hertz 1080p monitor costs. That guy dropped his books. I don't care. Like, it's like, that's not a proper, that's not a balanced system in my mind, so I'm not gonna do that. So you'll never see like 1080p content on this channel with like this GPU, or even like a 3090 Ti, or I mean, you probably will see like Intel Arc, because Intel Arc, I can see somebody buying an Intel Arc GPU and pairing it up with a 1080p monitor. In my mind, that's okay. Like, that's totally fine. Like, that's valid. But, you know, like $1,000, $1,200 $1,600 for a 1080p monitor? No. I mean, like, pairing that GPU with a 1080p monitor? No. No. Yeah, 1440p is the lowest. Yes. Yeah. So yeah, that's the reason why, like, if I'm gonna be benchmarking like different GPUs at 4K, I'm going to size them appropriately for the job. Like, I could, in theory, test this for 1440p, but I'd rather, you know, test a much more affordable GPU for that resolution. So, for instance, like a 6700 XT. You know, if I had a 6800 XT, I'd probably test one of those. Okay, that guy was smart. That guy actually turned around. That guy turned around. He didn't, like, ricochet off of my character and, like, go in some weird direction or drop his books and walk, like, to the right of me or whatever. You know, like, at least that NPC actually did it right. These other ones keep messing up. Man, this is gonna be a big, like, it's gonna show my playtime is so long for no reason at all. So, yeah, we're probably gonna end the stream here. But this was a really, really interesting, like, discussion. Not every day do I get to talk to someone who works in the industry and actually, like, understands a lot of the inner workings for, like, stuff like the rendering. So, shout out to Pixel Shake TV. That was an excellent discussion. It was fun. Like, honestly, if it wasn't for this discussion, this stream probably would have ended like 2 hours ago. Because I don't think I've done anything except stand around in the Ravenclaw house the whole time and just talk about GPUs. So, yeah. No, this is totally fine. Like, it definitely makes this way more insightful and probably a lot more valuable in the long run than, you know, just the short, like, 2 hour, whatever it was going to be originally, showcasing the game at 4K Ultra. But yeah, it was good. Yeah, well, we'll be back next time playing the game at 1440p Ultra with the Intel Arc A770 to see how that GPU handles the game at a lower resolution, native res, and we'll see how it does. I'm just gonna go down the stack. I'm not gonna stream the game at like 1080p. Now I know you guys are able to watch the stream in 1080p, but that's because, you know, YouTube streaming, you know, I'm outputting it downscaled to 1080p on the server ingest side. Like, if I'm gonna play the game on stream, it's either gonna be 1440p or 4K. Not gonna do 1080p anymore. Like, I'm kind of graduated, like, above like 1080p now. Not gonna go down to 1080p. So don't expect like Vega 64 at 1080p. I mean, I have the hardware. I could do it. You know, I could do Radeon 7, or even like GTX 1080 or whatever. But that'd be really, really boring. So it's like, no, we're gonna stick to like either 4K or 1440, and we're gonna use GPUs that are more modern. So, all right, guys. Well, once again, it was great, great conversation. And as always, I will catch you guys in the next one. And with that, take care, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks.